Okay, Shalom Israel. I hope everybody's doing well today. We're back at it. Hope everybody's doing well. Cobb, Guatemala, and his congregation. Shalom to all. SOW, Rochester, New York, Virginia, and Houston. Hope your brothers doing good out there, fighting a good fight. We're back at it on the Sabbath now. About to get it in. Dealing with Nehemiah. Let's send our prayers real quick. Amajim. Ponya Yerushalayim. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Ahawa'ah. Netanel. Awar. Zayawam. The water. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives us the light this day. Thank you, so be it.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Ahawa'ah. Netanel. Rayach. Nayachacha. The water.
Aman. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
Imagine Wapanya Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai.
Ahawa'ah. Netanel. Hashabbat. Bashalom. The water.
Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives us the Sabbath and peace. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121. Anasha, Ayanyamya, Ahoyam, Maya, Yabu'a, Isaiah, Yabu'a, Ma, Yahweh, Sha'isha, Shemaiah, Wa'arataza, La'a, Yanathan, Lamawat, Regalia, Yala'a, Nawam, Shashamaya, Ana, Yala'a, Yala'a, Nawam, Wala'a, Yishon, Shashuamar, Yashua, Yahweh, Shemariah, Yahweh, Tazalia, Ayah, Yanyamya, Yad, Hashimash, Yala'a, Hakaya, Bayawam, Wala'a, Halabana, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashemariah, Makol, Rai, Yashemar, Napasha, Yahweh, Yashemar, Havalakya, Wabu'ayah, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Iwalam, Amen.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Israelite Credo. Shema Yahshua, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad. Shema Yahshua, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad. Shema Yahshua, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad.
Hear Israel, Yahweh our power, Yahweh is one.
Lord's Prayer. Avanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Chodesh, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Sabbath, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Netanel, Lachom, Ko, Yawam, Wasalachanawa, Chol Watino, Kasalachano, Chol Watino, Kasalachano, Wala Fabiano, Banasawan, Abo, Kawashano, Mayan, Rod, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahala, Wahatapara, La'ai
Amen. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Ten Commandments.
Okay.
La'ai Laka, Alahaya, Achaya, Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2. La'a, Tha'ina, Laka, Pasal, Wala'a, Tha'ibada.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'a, Thalachwacha, Sham, Yahweh, Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar, Hayawam, Hashabat, Lakwadashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5. Kabat, Abaka, Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6. La'a, Tharatazak.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'a, Tana'a.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'a, Tagana.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'a, Ta'ina, Shakwa.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10. La'a, Ta'chaman, Ko, Ashara, La'raika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Okay. Bashem Yashai,
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the law.
Israel Yeshafim.
Take seats.
All right. We didn't get very far in last week's reading. We got to like the midway point of Nehemiah chapter 4. But in our defense, it was a lot of information, a lot of meat there. The beginning of the topic dealt with the fact that when the nation, the surrounding enemies of ours, realized that we were starting to build this wall together, and the nations laughed at the idea of Israelite unity, and they scoffed at the idea that we can come together and do anything profitable for ourselves. So they started realizing that we were taking this serious, and the comments went from jeers and laughing and jokes to, okay, these guys are serious. There's a real threat. They have a leader that they mutually respect. We need to do something about stifling these people. And then the tone of laughter and mocking turned into, okay, how can we break this machine that's going? How do we sit back here and interrupt this? Because once they get this wall up, they're going to be formidable, they're going to be strong, and we're not going to be able to poach and get the monies and resources that we once got from them. So we're going to start there and go to verse 7 and Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 7. I want to make sure we're setting the tone, because what ended up happening is, when they started taking it serious, was when, and you're reading Nehemiah chapter 4 and 1, they went halfway with the building of the wall. Okay, matter of fact, it was verse 6 when they started seeing the wall, and they said, damn, this wall is halfway built. But the crazy thing is, the halfway built wall was 20 feet high. So they put some significant work in a very short time. A 20-foot high wall, 8 feet deep.
That's 2 basketball goals up. That's about 8
It's tall. and 8 feet thick. It was an 8 feet thick wall. That's formidable. And what that meant is our people were putting in some real work.
Straight labor.
That's pure labor. And the crazy thing is this, to get a better idea of the scale of the work, it was 20 feet high, 8 feet thick, and 2.5 miles long.
It's a long.
2.5 miles long, bro. That was the length of this wall. So that was a lot of commitment with the skilled laborers and the regular laborers to get this thing done so quickly. And historically, it took only 52 days to complete the wall in totality. Just 52 days. But this is the midway point. So they were getting a lot of work done. And the scripture says, when I think about it, where good is, what's present? Evil is present. So with all this good, they're getting a lot of headway. The work is producing. They got 20 feet high.
Good momentum.
The momentum's legit. Now they just got to push through to finish out. Now the nations are like, you know what? We have to sit back here and stifle this. We got to stop this. We can't let them operate this smoothly without giving them some kind of a challenge to shake them off and deter them from their objective. So let's get verse 7 now. Let's get you saluted in Kariah.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Bana Sha'ala.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Bana Shah. Imagine. Yahweh Hashem Hashem Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Hashem Rakatham.
Yahweh.
But halfway up, the wall's ready to go. Or not ready to go, but it's looking good.
It looks good.
2.5
problem.
Come.
So, in the midst of this happening, read verse 7.
Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 7. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah.
We know that Sanballat was the leader of the Samaritan kingdom, which was a mixed match of people that had been transplanted from the Persian kingdom years ago anyway. Okay? And they were non-Israelites who would govern that area, mixed with Israelites who were dissenters and didn't want to be a part of the nation or up north. But Sanballat was the head of the region, or the governor of the region, and he didn't like the fact that Israel was getting stronger. Tobiah was the leader, if I'm not mistaken, of the Ammonites. Then it says the Arabians. Read on.
Come. And Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and that the breaches began to be stopped. Then they were very wroth and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it.
So their plan was to do everything in their power to stop production, stop work, and to attack people and actually kill people. What we're going to read in Josephus shortly is that they were successful in the killing of some of our people in the process of hindering this work. Well, let's keep reading.
Come. Verse 9. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our power and set a watch against them day and night.
Now, verse 9 is explaining that, as always, Nehemiah's response to any adversity was first prayer and in acknowledging to the Most High the need for help, the need for the Most High to sit back and get in the way to interfere in Sanballat's and Tobiah's and all these conspiring nations' plans. Okay? Read on.
Verse 10. And Judah said.
So it said, and they set a watch them day and night.
Okay.
So that means there's very little what happening now. If you're having day watches and night watches, what's that? What's being lost?
Less laborers.
Less sleep.
Less sleep.
The work got to keep going.
Right.
Because this is one thing that we have to understand about the spirit of fighting a battle. Just because adversity comes doesn't mean you stop the work. For brothers that work a mall, if I'm dealing with tiredness, if I'm dealing with lust, if I'm dealing with a lack of a clear thought, a lot of times people think stopping and collecting yourself is the answer. The answer is prayer and then continuing your work.
Push through the
Nothing ever gets done.
God.
It gets or accomplished spiritually by stopping what you're doing. I've heard many brothers over the years, I had to stop and leave the work to get my head together.
Yeah.
To get my head clear.
That's a common statement.
There's no way. That's never been done. It's been done a bunch of times, but it's never solved anybody's spiritual problems. To sit back and take a step back, think about things, and then come back doesn't work that way.
Now, stepping back and counseling, but maintaining the spirit of counsel, the posture of counsel, and communicating and studying and praying and collecting yourself spiritually works.
Yes.
But disengaging from the affair,
Disengaging
taking
from
yourself
actual
out
work.
of the environment of spirituality to be into your thoughts and then to pontificate in your own world only weakens your spirit and kills your ability to get that courage back to go back into your war.
Done.
Because it's hard to rebuild courage when you're out for the battlefield.
Because when you're out, you start compounding your fears. You start compounding your doubts. You start thinking more and more about how a situation is difficult. It's unwise when you're in the middle of the battle to stop the battle. And this is, once again, the things written aforetime are written for our learning. So we're in Nehemiah chapter 4 and 9. And as always, Nehemiah's response, his initial response was perfect. He's like, okay, let's send our prayers to the Most High. Make sure the Most High is on our side. But now we know that there is a threat, an imminent threat. Now we have to sit back here where we're going to lose sleep. We're in the middle of a battle. The flesh needs to get inconvenienced. Okay, listen, we're going to have to sit back and do day shifts and night shifts. No comfort. So they can sit back and sneak attack at any time, and they can still break us. Now, you can think, okay, they have 20-foot high walls. But as you're going to read later on, their gates weren't made. You have these big gates all throughout the wall. You'll see these squares. You'll see the squares. The squares are either towers or gates that weren't completed. That was a wood thing. So Nehemiah was like, when they're doing the construction, let's complete the heavy stuff. Let's get the walls done. Then we can sit back here and build gates.
The lighter elements.
Then we can build the gates after. The gates and the towers later. So there's still gaping holes in between these 20-foot high walls. Does that make sense? So there were still open spots and breaches that were still exposed, that they had to have men on watch all day and all night. What that does, that puts a strain on the flesh. That puts everybody is on a daily, weekly, monthly high alert. There's a level of tension that comes from that.
Exactly.
That you can't get away from.
You're anticipating, no matter how you think, your imagination is also running wild too.
And this is the situation is this. Yes, we're supposed to pray, but you can't sit back here and eliminate the condition or the possibility that we're going to be going to war anytime soon from any direction. We had enemies from the north, enemies from the west, the east, and the south. The Arabians were from the south. The Philistines and the Tyrians, Sidonians were west. We had the people of Syria in the east, the Ammonites from the east, and the Sumerians from the north. We were hated across the board. And these gates are exposed across the board.
God.
So, you have something to say?
Yeah, no, the Most High said good is set against evil.
Yes.
So as soon as you try to do something good, you can expect anticipation of the opposition to come to you. That's in any and every event, in all events.
Yep. So now there is an imminent threat that's on our head. And the beautiful thing is, once again, the prayer was there, but the battle still present amongst us. Read verse 10.
Verse 10. I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I know they said half of the wall was built.
No, I didn't say half north. Not like this. It was half like this.
Okay.
It's 20 feet high. It's half.
So they had to.
The wall was 40 feet in totality,
Okay.
approximately. So they got 20 feet high, which is half of that, 8 feet thick,
Yeah.
and 2.5 miles long.
Okay.
We're almost there.
We're almost there, but there's still holes. The holes were in the gates.
And that was my question too. Did they have to set people to watch in those areas that they were open?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they're doing. All the breaches.
Which means the spirit of fear.
Or they can sit back and just try to go over the 20 feet high. But all you need is a ladder or two and you're in.
You can do 20 feet.
20 feet is 2 stories.
Yeah,
That's a better way to say it.
that's a great way to say it. So you can get a ladder and handle that. So they can go any direction still. It's not just the sheet gates, the wooden gates, and the wooden towers.
Okay.
They're still vulnerable. It's not that 40 feet is significant. You got to bring heavy equipment. And when you got to bring heavy equipment, you can see them coming.
You can do a rope with 2 stories.
And when you can see it, yeah, that's what. But you can see them coming when they got to bring the kind of weaponry and munitions needed to siege a 40-foot high wall.
Okay.
So they weren't there yet.
Okay.
But that spirit of tension and stress is everywhere at the moment. Right? So read verse 10.
Okay. Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 10. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed.
Now let's take a look at these burdens that they're grabbing. These are some of the stones that were pieced together that are still at Jerusalem to this day. And a lot of these archaeologists did a lot of research on these stones. And a lot of these burden bearers were sitting back here carrying these heavy, pure rock
That's hard
boulders,
work.
man.
That's hard work.
That's my point. Can you imagine? You got to carry this 30 feet high to stack it to the next.
Listen, brothers, we do moves out. You got a heavy box. You need 2 men on one box.
I know.
And that's just carrying to a truck. I can imagine going up levels.
You got to use some type of scaling device or scaffold. You
Yeah.
got to use a scaffold for that.
Kinda. But what it's saying is, well, listen, that's to lift it. But then you got to have bearers of burdens to take granite rocks like this and dump them and then bring them back. Because you had certain guys that knew how to strategically stack them. But the guy didn't know that. The skilled laborers did the scaffolding. But the bodies, what they had to do?
Yeah, those are the donkeys. The bodies of the donkeys.
The rest of the guys, they didn't have all the education and skill. Hey, bro, guess what you got to do today? We're going to lift these granite rocks from point A to the river. And then guess what you got to do? Then you got to get the new rock from point B back to Jerusalem. And that's what your days are. Because that's what half the crew was doing. All the burnt rock had to get shipped out and get cleared out. You had to clear the area out and then stack new rock. So they said the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed. Why? Those bearers of burdens had to do what? Had to keep going outside of the damn central area. You had to take these rocks out, bring new rocks in. You're going in and out of the city. They said their strength was decayed. First of all, it's a grueling job to do what they're doing. Secondly, I'm bearing these burdens, and I got killers and shooters all around me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they're going to come from. I don't know how they're going to come at me, if they're going to come into the day. There's no peace in my work. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Read it again from the top, verse 10.
Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 10. And Judah said, the strength of the bearer of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish.
There's a lot of trash. And when you're in any kind of construction site, if you're going to do things right, every day before and after work, there's got to be cleanup.
Yeah.
Before work, after work, you got to get all this crap out so the next day can operate smooth. And then throughout the day, there's more accumulated dirt, trash, rubbish, heavy lifting. So they're saying there is much rubbish. Read on.
It says, so that we are not able to build the wall.
Why wouldn't you be able to build the wall? Because of the rubbish. Why? I said it earlier. You got to get the rubbish out of the city. But out of the city, you're what?
Unprotected.
You're unprotected. You're isolated. And that's where they're afraid that they're going to get hit.
Yeah.
When they're exposed in teams of 2 and 3. So they're like, man, listen, how are we going to keep this wall going when they got snipers and shooters and killers and stick-up kids? I'm going to use regular terms for what they were fearing was going to happen to them outside of the wall.
And they're making threats too.
They're making, and we're going to read the next verse, they were making real threats.
Yep.
Like multiple reports were saying the same thing. So they're like, how are we going to get this work done when we're lifting burdens and we can get killed? We can take the risk of getting killed. This is what was happening. And this is what was trying to slow the work up. So instead of attacking them necessarily in the city, which they still could do, we could pick you apart as you're coming out, which would hinder work anyway. Now, read that, read verse 11. Matter of fact, read verse 10 and 11 again.
Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 10. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall.
God.
And our adversary said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease.
It's just, they're not going to know when it's coming, what time it's coming, but we're going to hit them. We're going to hit them, and they're going to look up, and they're going to be encircled. They're going to look up, and the bearers of burdens are going to get taken advantage of and get hit. What are the nations trying to do? They're trying to initiate a spirit of what? Fear. Panic. And if people are scared, more times than not, they sit back here and they stop. And we're going to read scriptures about fear. What the purpose of fear is and what their intentions are to do with this fear. If I keep everybody paralyzed with fear, now we can stop the work. It's almost like the nation, like we don't got to necessarily touch them, but we got to know that we mean business and that we could touch them. And if we could touch them, let's keep them, that'll keep them from doing the work. Fear of your life, skin for skin. Okay? Read that again.
Verse 11. And our adversaries said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease.
Yes.
Yeah, you listen to the terminology and listen to what they're saying. They're saying that they're going to catch these guys slipping.
Yep.
Go to Job chapter 24 verse 14 real quick. Because listen to what they're saying. They're articulating how, man, we're going to catch them off guard.
Yep.
He said they're not going to see us coming. What do you call that?
24 what?
14. Job chapter 24 verse 14.
Job chapter 24 and verse 14.
Read that.
The murderer rising with the light.
He said the murderer get up in the morning. He real early in the morning. He rise with the light. Read.
It says the murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy.
Read on.
And in the night.
And at nighttime, he's doing what?
Is as a thief.
He's stealing at night. So that's a scheme. He's scheming all day, and he's scheming all night. And that mentality of scheming is a 24-hour mentality. And that's why they saying when they got that murder, when somebody has a murder on their mind, it don't matter what time they're gonna come get you at all times. Because in their mind and their mentality is, I got to catch you off guard. Or nowadays they call it catch you lagging.
Yeah.
You was lagging or lacking. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You was unprotected. You was off guard. That's the murderous mentality. Either I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna rob you, I'm gonna kill you in the morning, early morning, or I'm gonna get you at night. But I'm gonna hit you while you're not paying attention. And that's a schemer's mentality. And so that puts a lot of intimidation on the children of Israel. We're like, man, it's hard to work like that when you got to look over your shoulder.
Yep.
When you never know when it's coming or how it's coming. That's a scary feeling.
Con. So listen, let's go back to Nehemiah real quick.
Con. Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 11. And our adversaries said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease.
We doing?
And it came to pass, that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, from all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you.
What he's saying is there was Jews that dwelt around them, that were living in neighboring cities around them, were coming to them and saying, hey, it was 10 reports from different Jews living in the vicinity of the Jews that was in Jerusalem, saying what? Hey, man, all these 10 sets of reports heard intricate plots about the nations coming to get us out. They all knew it.
Yeah.
So they're doing confirmation after confirmation. You might have had a Jew living in Phoenicia saying, hey, man, I heard this plot. They talking about coming to get you. They're in Tyre and saying, hey, man, I just want to let y'all know, giving y'all a heads up, they coming for you. There's some Jews out in Arabia, some Jews out in up in Samaria. And the Lexus, that's why I said intricate plots. What are you talking about? For those who know, they know. You know what I mean? But they're coming to him and saying, well, listen,
it wasn't them.
There's a song called Warning. If you know about it, it's Warning.
There's some other people.
Listen,
make it blow like nitro.
That's what I'm saying. They heard that you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're coming after him, and they're getting multiple reports, person after person. And so they're getting 10 confirmed reports, so they know the threat is what? Because you hear one little rumor, oh, that's nothing. That's just one little rumor, man. These guys talking some smack.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get 10 people saying the same thing in different areas. They know it's real. So now that is imposed, the spirit of fear is really heavy on the people right now. But let's go. Proverbs 29 and 25, and let's deal with this spirit of fear that they're trying to invoke. Like I said, there's one thing to pray, which is what we're supposed to do. But like we all know, when we're in the middle of a battle, man, prayer and counsel, it has to be done repeatedly. You know, you're going through some traumatic stuff, you counsel about it, you temporarily feel at ease, right? Okay. Then you drive home and you feel confident and you're clearing the mind. Then around 4 hours later, guess what happens?
The spirit comes back.
That spirit jumps on you again. And you got to sit back and fight to clear your head up, clear your thoughts. And then you might shake it off that night. And that next morning it's going to be heavy on you again. And it's heavy on you like a weight. Then you start having that paranoia, you're looking around, you're hearing sounds you normally don't hear.
Oh, yeah.
You're reacting weird. You're double looking down in the horizon, down in the woods.
Seeing the shadows moving.
Did you hear that, man? No, what you mean? I heard something, man.
Yeah.
I heard it. Let me go double check. And you sprint in these areas, you don't see nothing.
Yes. Your minds are playing
tricks on you. Every day is more impossible to cope. I feel like I'm the one that's smoking peyote. Anyway, we're going silly right now. But what's the point? The spirit of fear is heavy amongst the builders of the wall. And the laborers have to go in and out of the city to get the work done.
And you know when you're working with a clear, positive, relaxed mind, the work is easy. The physicality of the work is easy when you're in a good spirit.
Because you see it. You see the fruit of your work.
Yeah.
It's actually happening.
It's good, but
we're coming together.
Huh?
Things are getting done. The spirit is right. Everybody's happy.
When the morale is good, the work is easier.
Can.
But when your mind's you try to put your mind on your work, but you have to put your mind in two places. It makes the work twice as hard.
Can. So let's go. Proverbs 29, 25.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare.
Listen, the fear of man, he said the fear of man bringeth a snare. But that's what's happening. Listen, it's easier said than done to say you have no fear. It's easier said than done to say, man, I'm not worried about it. I trust in the Most High. The answer is trust in the Most High. But that trust in the Most High has to be constantly nurtured. And when that fear is even rolling on you a little bit, it just makes the work 10 times harder. It makes the grind 10 times harder.
Because nothing is for show. Nothing is for certain.
Exactly. So walking every day, it's a challenge to keep the mind
Got Venom in the house.
locked on.
I couldn't.
Okay. But let's continue.
What's up, man?
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25.
Okay, read it from the top again.
You might have some paper out? Some paper with you?
It says, the fear of man bringeth a snare,
Okay.
but whoso putteth his trust in the Most High shall be safe.
And that's the challenge. The challenge is to keep putting your trust in the Most High and just keep working. You know what the crazy thing is? The only thing you can do when the spirit of fear is heavy on you is to pray and just to bury yourself in the job in front of you.
That's true.
What else can you control?
We always say bury yourself in the book.
But you do bury yourself in the book. But you can't just sit back and read Bible verses on it. You got to actually put some work in to power through the challenge. So it's like you got to send your prayers up, ask the Most High to look after you, and then just go full speed ahead, full throttle, and the responsibilities in front of you. That has to be done if you want to stay mentally clear.
True.
Yeah, and depending on how severe the anxiety is that's upon a person, the cycle of the thought of the fear will be on repeat every 10 minutes. Every 15 minutes, you can't stop thinking about it. You can watch TV, and while you're watching TV, your mind will go right back to that anxiety.
Yeah.
You can go outside and say, I'm going to go for a walk, but while you're walking, your mind is on the anxiety. You can't take your mind off of that anxiety because there's too much anticipation built up, ready to embrace. You'd rather get it over with. You'd rather just like, man, I wish these guys just come out and fight.
Let's go.
I'd rather just fight these guys right now than just waiting on a for these guys to catch me off guard. Let's just get this thing over with and just fight, man.
And then what was it?
Death is worse than death.
Listen, that means this. The work is going to be done sloppily because the concentration ain't going to be there.
Nope.
And then what kind of sleep you going to have at night?
It's not going to be good, huh?
You ain't getting no sleep.
You're pulling double shifts, too.
You're pulling double. That's the point. You're pulling double shifts. Nobody's getting any rest. Nobody's getting rest.
And only certain people can handle that kind of scale of labor. So you have the average common person having to extend themselves past their normal bounds. Some of us are used to living like that. Some people have a natural gift for labor. You can see it. They have a natural propensity to stress themselves, but not the common man. And it showed the whole entire nation as a unit had to stress themselves.
Because this wasn't, we weren't militarily trained. These were regular workers and construction guys and regular guys that just work regular gigs.
Everyday people out there.
It's everyday people having to deal with this pressure and this stress on their head every day.
If it was the military, I could see it. Oh man, that's the military.
They're trained.
You guys are trained. You guys know about sacrificing your life. It's in your DNA. It's in your bloodline. We get that.
Yep.
But it's just this is the common Joe Smo. This is the common person.
Yes.
The everyday. Remember, one brother had his daughters working.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the everyday person had to put all hands on deck for the Most High. That's the lesson that we need to learn from the situation.
And what we're going to sit back and read, what you're watching, is the cost of unity. Because we're going to sit back here and read this also. Listen, they're putting their lives on the line, right? And also, you know what? Also, we're going to read in chapter 5 if we get there. But we're also putting on the line is our financing. Everybody is all in the city, working, labor, construction. Now they're having to bring everybody together in the city to protect themselves from in life or death situation.
Yeah.
But what's also being neglected?
Your administration.
We're reading about the unity. What we're not reading about is everybody's leaving their regular jobs.
Yeah.
Everybody's leaving their farms. Everybody's leaving the way that they eat and survive. This is an all-in sacrifice that everybody's committing to for the sake of the Most High and for their future generations.
Which means something and someone that's important is getting neglected.
Yes.
But this is the right neglect. Last night was about the wrong neglect. Neglecting those that need you. But this is the correct neglect. This is things that need to be done, but the priority is the Father and the nation.
Yeah.
So something important has to get cast aside and put on the back burner.
Yep.
For the greater good.
But you got to also understand how big of a sacrifice this is. Say, for instance, for us in the world, you know. Say, for instance, I go all in for the Most High and I quit my job. It was really a dead-end job anyway.
Yeah.
And then I sit back and give up for 2 or 3 months. I kind of live like a bum for God.
Yeah.
Then I come back. I can get another job in a month or so, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it was back in those days? If you give up 2 to 3 months of your life for a task in the work, you realize you lose your entire year's worth, your entire year's earning, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah, but you don't really understand what that is, because when you're having your crops set up, if you neglect your crops for 3 months, a lot of your crops going to die.
You're on rations now.
So now you have no profit for your entire year.
And you still have debts.
But that's what the way that things work in that agricultural scenario. You work all year just to pay your bills off of what you grew. You survive off of that harvest.
I didn't think about that.
And that's a whole year's worth of income that the nation threw away. What Nehemiah was asking for them was tremendous. Just keep that in mind. So they've given up their livelihood for a year for this work. Now they're risking their lives and their children's lives and their wives' lives for this move too. This was an all-in move. This wasn't just we're just going to sit back here and whistle and work. We're giving up everything for this move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. That kind of project that they're embarking on is so massive. It takes a whole sacrifice in order to get it done.
Kind of. Everybody had to say, you know what? F it. If it's for our nation, we're gonna sit back here and just bite the bullet for the entire year, and be in the hole for the entire year. And the Most High is going to come through for us.
And those are those great generations that make the sacrifice for their children. There's selfish generations and untoward generations. They're completely about their pleasure and their necessity and their want. And then there's also generations that they answer the call for the needs of their great children, their great grandchildren, and their grandchildren.
God. And I just want to make sure we're dealing with that level of sacrifice plus that fear that's tacked on top of it.
Yeah.
Now we know why the laborers are more sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
The work is harder to get accomplished. It's almost like, man, you make these sacrifices and things get harder and harder, because that's how it feels.
I'm not getting no
when you commit to the Most High. The more commitment you make, it seems like you get put in snares where you got to lose more and more and more. Then you ask something, what is the benefit of sacrificing? Whenever I sacrifice, I am put under all these different type of financial burdens, mental burdens, stress burdens, fear burdens. Is it all worth it?
That example.
Versus me sitting back here, and let me just go back to Babylon and work a job and make my money. It's almost like, was it worth leaving Babylon and coming back into Israel to rebuild this city? It'd have been better that is make my money in my cozy crib and house and lifestyle in Babylon or Persia. Why even go and deal with this stress?
Because the selfish people back home are doing good.
They're comfortable.
They're not.
Their life isn't threatened. Their crops are attended to. And what good is doing all this crazy extreme stuff in Israel? Don't you think that's the thoughts that's going through everybody's heads, including Nehemiah, including Ezra? Now, I'm not saying those thoughts are prevalent, but they're crossing the head, they're crossing the mind. What's the benefit of doing all this good for the Most High?
I could have did it easier.
I could have been more comfortable and followed the law. And been A-okay. So, with all this fear going on, let's go to Proverbs 3 and 25 and 26.
Can I make one point also?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also, we have a similar condition of this when we were in Egypt. When we faced and dealt with Pharaoh, what happened? He made it harder on the people. I'm gonna make you build without slime and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get your own product and still produce the same, if not more, amount of labor. So this is a universal condition with nation building.
When you're trying to build for your nation and for your people, and for those of us in San Antonio, we're about to feel this on a on a realistic level as we build and push forward in the next project in our building. The fact that as we try to push forward for spiritual and camp stability, there's more resisting getting in the way to try to discourage the direction. It's always going to be that way. Nehemiah is a great chapter that deals with campaigning, camp campaigning, church campaigning. The understanding that the dangers and fights and the sacrifice that come with building something to stabilize your nation. For those of y'all who are putting together classes, Nehemiah is perfect for camp building and campaigning. The necessary tools you need to help get your school and your camp set up to a stronger position. Because all these type of obstacles that Nehemiah and the nation is facing are similar to what we face. Maybe not the fear, but just different obstacles that are dangled in front of us. Okay? Okay. Read verse 25 in Proverbs.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked.
He says, don't be afraid of sudden fear. Because the first thing that happens when fear hits you suddenly is you want to stop. You want to stop what you're doing and go a different direction. I can't think of the verse on the top of my head.
Betraying the Secors.
But when you sit back here, and once you sit back and go a certain path the Most High is taking you on, if you stop and change courses, all you're doing is having to start the whole battle all over again. Because the lesson is the same.
But not to the left or the right? Let the eye be single and not bias before light?
It's not that one. It was a verse I've read many years ago, and it was in the Apocrypha about not stopping what you're doing. Once you start a path, don't stop it and start another one.
The Most High have no pleasure in them that draw it back.
It's perdition.
It's not. It's not perdition. It's not perdition. But it's something in that kind of breath.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about not stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Listen, if the Most High's got you going a direction, don't stop and start. Because all you're doing, you think stopping and starting is going to get you to eliminate that battle. That same battle is waiting for you in a different situation.
You're not going to escape.
You're not going to escape the lesson the Most High's got for you.
And that's most Israel does. Most Israel, realistically, as individuals, we stop and start projects.
And we never get anything accomplished.
We stop and start changes.
Mm-hmm.
We stop and start. We get easily discouraged. Israel is easily discouraged. This is a really good class concept for people who are discouraged by
adversity
and adversities and things that they can't control. Outside their
and you want to stop and go another arena, and you'll sit back in another roadblock over here. The answer is, what's the Spirit teaching you about this obstacle?
And we're all control
that freaks. You have to overcome it.
We're all natural control freaks in our own arenas, where we want to control every single aspect of every detail and every commerce that comes in and out of our life and every exchange in our life. We want to control the conditions and how much pressure, how much time, and my schedule, and my life, and my interactions. We want to control everything around us. But the Most High is showing the only way to build is to accept no control. The only way to maintain forward momentum is to accept you don't have control over the conditions. The only control you have is your daily labor, your daily brick, your daily bread.
And how you mentally deal with that. Because the thing is this, fear is one thing, but am I going to stop my path with the fear? We still have to go to work. We still got to fight our battles.
Fear is just
bills,
listen. I get we got to do this as a nation. But I've been had bills.
Yep.
I've been behind since before we did this stuff. You should have told me we were doing this project a year ago. I could have got prepared. I could have got myself prepared.
That's not how it is. That's
Nobody told me we're gonna have to do all this work, and I'm behind.
And now I'm gonna sit back here and I'm gonna lose my harvest. I thought this was gonna be the harvest to get me out of red. Every time you think that this is gonna be the harvest. This year.
This is the year.
I see. I got extra potatoes over there growing. I see them.
Yep.
I got around 15 more bushels growing.
And I got the homie who wants to buy from me. We already talked about it.
So all I got to do is once they finish and right, I'm gonna reap them, and now we're gonna get out of debt.
I'm about to get out the red, and we're about to have a better situation.
You got to understand. We're gonna read it in chapter 5. We didn't sit back here and not pay our debts back then. No, Esau in this country, they don't believe in paying bills. We charge back. We got credit cards. We max them. We don't pay them no more.
In ancient times, a big dude with muscles, whipped up dude comes to your house. Debo comes to your house when you ain't pay your bills. In ancient times, bro.
Or you're at the point where you got to sit back and go to slavery if you don't pay your
That's
debts.
what I'm saying.
Sell your kids off for slavery.
But the first thing is listen, you owe me 6 years.
I love you, son.
You owe me
You gotta go work with him.
for 6 years.
I'll see you in 6 years.
Bro.
That's hard, bro.
Listen, so paying debt back was serious. Okay? So let's continue in verse 26. Read it from the top again.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 26 or 25. Or 26.
Just give me 26. It's
And that's
fine.
one more thing. I don't interrupt. But this is also a great lesson that we can, as a nation, do something significant. I know often we critique our people, but we critique because often we sit here and have lofty goals, but no actions behind it.
And I'm going to say this, and I want Israel to know this also. We critique the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, however the leaders are is where the people are going to flow.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I remember reading when I think it was
So
no. Hezekiah's father. Remember Hezekiah's father? Ahab. Was it Ahaz? He sat back here and shut down the temple.
Yep.
There was no teaching the Bible, no nothing. You know what happened?
Barred it up too.
He barred it up. He closed the doors, and the priests were out of a what?
I had a job.
Out of a job, bro.
Unemployed.
And they were unemployed. They had to learn farming. The priest had to learn farming. They never learned nothing but serving the Lord in the temple.
Ahaz.
Yeah, it was Ahaz.
Yeah.
So they had to sit back here and learn new jobs. Hezekiah comes back in and doesn't have enough priests to perform the ceremonies for the High Holy Day, for the Passover. Why? Because the priests weren't really confident in this priest thing anymore. They lost their job 15 years
Listen,
ago.
I don't know. I sit here. I'm at the post office. I'm almost retired.
Post office.
I don't know if I got time.
Safety
to sit
Act.
here. I don't know if I got time to sit here and be this priest guy.
Well, that's the point. So what happened was the priests stopped having faith in the priesthood because the leaders were always shaky. Hezekiah had to come in, reestablish confidence that they would be backed. And,
Yes.
and he had to sit back and use camp money
Yeah.
or prince and king money to sit back here and help finance the Levites back.
He had to be the first investor.
Why am I explaining this? I'm just saying that based on how strong leadership is, you will get better commitment from the body. We're hard on the leaders. We're hard on leaders that talk but don't live it and don't lead from the front. Because if the leaders are strong, the people have something to believe in. Whether it is the kings were shutting out the priest, or the priests were being wicked and negative, and the people decided to sit back here and do sacrifices on the high places. It's the same trickle-down process. When the leadership is weak, when the priests were rotten and corrupt, why would people go to these rotten and corrupt priests that were taking advantage of the people? Let me sit back here and be my own priest head and kill this animal on an altar I made. So this is not about attacking our people as far as them not being capable of accomplishing anything. It's more about our leaders showing the nation that we're trustworthy enough and dependable enough for them to trust us.
For you to buy in.
And that's the thing. Black unity is sometimes is looked upon as a myth because we don't have strong leadership. We don't have leaders that the people can trust in. There's a lot of Israelites who stopped doing the work because of shaky, inconsistent leaders. So we're hard on leadership. It ain't about the people. It's about the leaders who aren't responsible enough to really take this job serious. Because a lot of times our leaders nowadays, they want the responsibility. They want the look. They want all the good that comes from it. But they don't want the responsibility.
God.
So this is what we be hitting Israel on. I just want to make sure we're clear. Because we ain't hitting the Jew.
God.
What it is what got the Israelites in Jerusalem to get the most out of them was how much of a leader Nehemiah was. His approach, his stability,
his policy,
his consistency, they were able to buy into. It didn't help that it didn't hurt that he had some military weapons behind him too.
But the Most High
backed guards, yeah.
Because he was in order with him. Key point, leadership was in order with the Father first. And the man was competent.
Yes. We
have leaders that have ability or they're great communicators, but they're incompetent when it comes to the affairs of the Father.
Con, I want to find this one word real quick. Okay. Read Proverbs 3 and 25 again.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear.
So to be afraid means impressed with fear or apprehension. What does apprehension mean? You're not quick to move forward. You're not quick to operate. You're hesitating. So what he's saying in this verse is don't hesitate when you're afraid. Don't be afraid of sudden fear. What he's saying is fear causes people to hesitate, overthink. The scripture says once you've counseled, don't do what?
Repent not.
Repent not. That was the one. When you sit back and counsel, you're going to go to direction. Don't stop in the middle of the counsel in a direction and start a new direction.
Like the Maccabees. When you had the army, we're going to war, and the army said, well, let's just go back and gather some more forces and think about it.
Once you make a decision, you have to live with the decision. And listen, the decision was to go and build. Don't be afraid. Don't hesitate now that you're afraid now. Now that fear is there. Don't let fear turn into an action. That's what he's saying in Proverbs 3 and 24. Don't be afraid of sudden fear. Don't all of a sudden hesitate in the plans that you already were going forward because now fear is present in front of you now. We're going to operate with fear, but not letting that fear slow us down in a direction that the Most High has got us going.
Ecclesiastes 32 and 19. Do nothing without advice. And when thou hast once done, repent not.
Don't stop the direction you're going. Because now whatever direction you got to go, you got to start back over that process anyway. But the keys are when you're afraid, don't let that fear stop hindering the direction you're going. So these men who were the laborers, they were starting to slow down off of the fear. He's like, don't slow down your work and your path just because you're afraid. Be afraid. Most I understand that fear is real, but don't stop your work. Don't slow down your work because you're afraid.
Grab something on that too. Yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 1.
Travail is for every man.
Ecclesiastes chapter 40 and verse 1. Great travail is created for every man.
Go ahead.
And a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam from the day that they go out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things.
Right. Now what's the yoke? What's the yoke and what's the travail? Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Their imagination.
What's the yoke?
Their imagination.
Wow.
What's the travail?
Their
Wow.
imagination.
What's the problem?
Their imagination.
The imagination is the yoke.
Wow.
And what about their imagination? That's the yoke. Read.
Their imagination of things to come.
Yeah, that's the yoke. Is the yoke what the collar? A yoke is a collar. A collar is a restraint. What restrains men from moving forward in life, or the collar that restrains them, the yoke that restrains them, is the anticipation of something going wrong.
Yeah. What if?
What if? What if I try and it's in vain? What if I put all my chips in and buy into this God thing, and I eliminate all my plan Bs, and I go 100% forward in faith, and then the Most High leave me hanging,
Yeah.
or I'm stranded? What if I put all my chips into this camp, and I'm left without nothing?
Yep.
So that collar, that yoke of travail, is the imagination of what?
Of the mind.
It says what?
It says their imagination of things to come.
Read.
And the day of death.
And what am I going to leave behind? What am I going to have? What I'm going to have to show for? I'm going to die with nothing to show for. I'm going to leave no legacy behind. I'm going to leave nothing behind. I'm going to do everything I did in vain. Go ahead.
Trouble their thoughts.
And it does what?
It troubles their thoughts.
It troubles the thoughts.
Okay.
This is why men have a hard time making positive steps forward in faith.
Facts.
Read.
Okay. It says their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart.
And it causes what?
It causes fear of heart.
What do you call it? Fear of heart. What's another term for fear of heart?
Panic attacks.
And Award just brought it out. He brought the definition out. That fear is what? Apprehension.
Yeah.
Hesitation.
This is why men don't make moves. Men will talk about making moves all day long, but fear keeps them in prison.
Yeah.
The idea of something going wrong and me wasting my time, and this is all being for nothing, keeps men apprehensive, and this is why men don't take giant steps in faith forward. They have all the knowledge and all the scriptures, but they won't move. It's a collar. It's like a chain on their neck, like a dog collar. Keeps them restrained in the yard. I can't move forward because I'm always thinking about what if something goes wrong? What if I do all this for nothing? I abandon all my plan Bs. I can't go back now. Well, you know what? The Most High wants you to move forward in faith in Him. He said the only way to please the Most High is in faith. Hebrews 11:6.
Yep, without faith.
Without faith, it's impossible to please Him. You can't please the Most High unless you're using faith. But the antithesis to faith is fear.
Yep.
Facts.
That's the guy that stands in the opposite side of the ring is fear. Because it makes me just want to say, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna do the safe play.
It's not worth the apprehension.
Yeah.
It's not worth the anxiety. It's not worth the fear. It's not worth the idea of loss.
Yeah. Or I'm afraid to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what keeps men stumbling. And that's why camps don't grow. This is why men don't grow, women don't grow. And he's going to explain. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. From him that sitteth on a throne of glory.
So fear can affect the top leadership. Go ahead.
It says, unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes.
Or fear can attack the lowest ranking, youngest person amongst the body. Fear can invade whether it be the top ranking or the lowest ranking members of the body. Fear can penetrate any one of those ranks. Read.
From him that weareth purple and a crown, unto him that is clothed with a linen frock.
Every man has to be aware of what their fear makes them do, or what their fear makes them not do, or not want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what fear does. That's what anxiety does. So we got to be conscious of the fact that these nations are trying to bring fear upon us so that we'll stop building. Fear is a weapon.
And with fear, with this fire, there's also smoke. With fear comes stress. There's a connection. Some people can deal with the fear. They say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And then what comes right after that demon of fear? Stress.
That's what these laborers were doing. They were full of stress.
This is stressful. I'm trying I'm praying. I'm studying. I'm working. And I'm under stress.
Duress. And this is why Nehemiah is a great chapter, because it lets you know that there is a certain level of stress and pressure that we all have to go through to accomplish these spiritual goals that we have provided in front of us. It ain't easy. It ain't easy for any of us. There's pressure across the board. But in order to get that blessing on the other side, like 2 Ezra chapter 7 talks about, somebody's got to navigate through this fire on one side and this water on the other side. Who's going to navigate through this pressure to get across over to enjoy the good, to receive the blessing?
Nope.
I don't know who's going.
No, that was it.
Okay, so let's get back to Proverbs 3, 25 and 26 and get back on the point.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 25.
The wall is halfway built, right?
It's halfway built. And once again, the wall is halfway built. It's 20 feet high, 8 feet thick, and these nations are sitting back here now coming at us. They're coming at us and setting up policies and rumors to all the cities are surrounding us that they're going to attack us and kill us. And this is why we're talking about this fear, because the purpose of setting these rumors and these accusations is to get us to operate, to slow down the work, to do what they can to stop getting accomplished what we're trying to get accomplished. Read Proverbs 3 and 25 and 26 again.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear.
Don't let the fear that's in front of you stop your work and make you apprehensive about the spiritual decision you took. Because that's what the being afraid of the fear. Maybe I shouldn't have went this direction. So don't let fear, sudden fear, make you question what you're doing for the Most High. Read on.
Can I say this also? These different situations or energies or mindsets are all trying to have one goal. Whatever spirit you're dealing with in your conscience or your mind, the goal, the spirits, all the demons, the spirits, the goals, the issues, they all have the same goal. It's to make you quit. That is always the goal of a negative spirit.
Whether it's these governors around Nehemiah,
quit,
or in our personal life when we're trying to push forward as a body.
Let's quit.
For Christ.
I'm tired. Quit. I'm angry. Quit.
My bills are messed up.
My bills are due. Quit. I'm afraid. Quit.
Yeah.
I am tired. I am exhausted. You know how exhausted I am? Quit. How much more do you want me to give? Quit.
Yep.
That the spirits want the same thing. They compound in groups and they compound in sets, but they have the same strategic goal.
Yeah.
The Most High said, my spirit will have no pleasure in him if a man draws back into perdition. Like Sean Shawan had quoted. These demons want you to quit so the Most High doesn't have any pleasure in you. The Most High has pleasure that you move forward and you continue.
Yeah. Well, he needs to see how it's going to explain in verse 26. Keep going.
It says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Most High shall be thy confidence.
He's going to be our confidence. If we trust that all in all, what is the application of the Most High being our confidence? How do you apply that? Because people say it all the time. That's my confidence. I trust in the Lord. I trust in the Lord. The only way I can show that I trust in the Lord is if I don't let that fear stop my progression. If, like what Dawiyat said is right, all these obstacles are to get us to quit. The scriptures, Proverbs, are saying, don't be apprehensive when fear hits you. Then me trusting in the Lord is not allowing that initial fear to change what I do moving forward for the Most High. That's how I trust in the Heavenly Father. And in the scenario with Nehemiah, them trusting in the Lord is to operate business as usual, regardless of these real threats that are surrounding them. That's how they show trust. We're going to get up in the morning. We're going to still labor. We're going to still build these walls. We're going to still dump this rubble. We're going to still get this trash out. We're going to still operate and do our job.
And we've said
that's trust.
For years, the statement was more of the same.
And that's how we show trust. We say it all the time in council with the zones. When you feel doubtful, when customers ain't trying to stop, you got to give more of the same, stick more to the routine, stick more to the process, and work harder at it. That's how we show confidence. What else can you physically, tangibly do to show faith in the Most High but to do more of the same in the arena that the Lord got you called to do? That's our power, is in being the same and maintaining our what? Because to trust in the Lord is another way that we maintain our integrity. Yeah. Maintain that same person every single day. Regardless of the different changing environments, you're the same person.
No, just curse the Most High and die.
No, I'm going to be the same person every single day, doing the same work, keeping the same mindset. That's how you trust.
And the Most
Because
High,
I'm trusting that the Most High's method works.
We know the Most High is a man of war.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get anything accomplished if you're not ready to go to war.
Right.
You got to fight. The Most High requires a fight. So how you go quit and show the Most High that you trust Him if you quit the fight?
But fighting is not how we're used to fighting. We're used to wilding out and being all overly emotional to get through a scenario.
For 30 seconds.
Listen, fighting is maintaining the same spiritual posture that you had before the adversity was presented to you.
That's hard.
That's trust. That's fight.
Bless those who stood so
Stiffly
for the name of the Lord.
And observe abstinence. I'm not going to give in to how I feel. I'm going to be the same person every day despite the conditions changing. So this was the battle that Nehemiah and the people in that city had to face. Yes, we make adjustments. Yes, we'll have 24-hour shifts of people watching out for each other. We're going to be the same people every day and lock it down and be potent for each other. And this is the guidance and leadership that Nehemiah presented to the people. Let that go. Now read verse 26.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 26. For the Most High shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken.
And you know how it's true? He says you keep your foot from being taken. That means if I have confidence in the Lord, I'm going to be taking the same steps I was taking before the appearance of fear. I'm still going to progress forward regardless of what around me might look like is an uncomfortable situation. So Nehemiah's crew, they kept stepping 1 foot forward. Let's get more bricks, more mortar, more bricks, more mortar, clean up. Bricks, mortar, clean up.
And
bricks, mortar, clean up.
Like
bricks, mortar, clean up. And then all we got to do is tack on night watch, day watch. We're going to keep doing this work. We're going to keep doing this job every single day, one step at a time, and we're not going to waver. And we're not going to change course and deviate and switch. That is not how I show confidence in the Heavenly Father. My steps are the same. That's how I show confidence. I'm going to call the same next customer. It's the next one, and the next one, and the next one. With more of the same spirit, more of the same conviction. That's how we show faith. That is the living application of it. Does that make sense? Okay. Let that go and go to Romans 8 and 35.
Can I put one scripture right?
Right now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is some quick scripture. Judges 20 and 8. And Ezra 3 and 1. Real fast.
Judges chapter 20 and verse 8.
Judges 20 and 8.
It's a fast scripture.
I'm not tripping on it. We're teaching the word of the Lord. I'm sorry.
Judges chapter 20 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And all the people arose as one man.
All the people arose. They scaled up. As what?
One man.
As one man. Same mind, same judgment.
Same routine. Same routine, same responsibility. That's the challenge for leaders. Can a leader get everybody to accept the vision and to take the same forward steps going towards the same goal. But keep going.
We don't?
And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any of us go to his tent.
I'm not going to my comfort. Read.
Neither will any of us turn into his house.
Listen, bro. We're going to stand up as one unit, and we're going to reject the comfort.
Yep.
Next scripture. Ezra 3:1. Ezra 3:1.
Ezra 3:1.
Ezra in the Bible.
Ezra chapter 3 and verse 1. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in the cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem.
It's not just the gathering of people. It's not just the summation of people.
Yeah.
It's not just the number of people.
We're coming together.
We have the concept of we have the idea that there's power in numbers.
Yeah.
We have that idea. That idea is only true if people are in one mind, as one man. It's only powerful when there's one man. When you look at the Josephus, you deal with Israel and they had a revolt. We revolted and we turned the whole city up because one of the kings was stealing the holy money. So everybody that came in from different cities, Jericho and different parts, they ended up flipping out and ripping the city apart, setting the city on fire, and you had multiple camps and multiple bands going to war because everybody was so offended that the king had stole the money, the holy money that they had gave at Pentecost, right? But the issue was they did it as different groups and different men with different agendas. Some people wanted to get on top. One guy wanted to be the king. Another man was just out here doing his own thing. We did all that revolting, but it wasn't as one man. So the Most High didn't honor it. It was all this action, but it couldn't be controlled because it was multiple different groups. Just like when Esau came into America. He conquered us because we were divided.
Yeah.
We're easily conquered because we're so divided.
500 nations.
500 nations.
When it's the Bible calls us 2 tribes.
2 tribes.
How do we go from 2 tribes to 500 nations?
The 500 nations.
That's crazy.
Well, we'll never get along.
Them are the Native Americans.
Come.
I have a book called 500 Nations. 500 damn nations. It was 2 tribes that came over here, bro. What's that tripping like that at? It's crazy.
We do that in one city. In one city, there's 30 different nations. That's why there can never be forward progress. So for your city, for your camp, there has to be one mentality, one mind. It can't be split mentalities. So the Most High honors our work, bottom line, when we're as one. That's the point I want to bring out.
Yeah. So we have to come. That's the thing about dealing with the spirit of fear. Listen, it's one thing to get 1 or 2 people, 10 people to get clear in the head about fear. Get thousands, get tens of thousands to not be afraid. You know how hard that is?
Significant.
To get past the fear when you got children and babies.
In debts.
We don't want debt. That's the debt demons happening in chapter 5.
Okay.
But fear, just getting. This is why what Nehemiah did was so awesome. He got everybody to get past the fear and to get back to work as usual. But it started with how poised he was. If he's sitting back here and antsy and moving all shifty and weird, and if he's projecting fear, they're going to feed off that. But he didn't. I just want to go to one verse before we go back on the topic. Romans 8 and 35.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Yahweh Shai?
Because this is real. What's going to keep us from the process of moving forward and doing good works in Christ's name? Read on.
Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword?
What it's saying is, what's going to get us to stop doing the work? Paul is like, nothing should stop you from doing the work. Tribulation, nakedness, peril, the sword. Don't forget, at Iconium, he got stoned to death. There's only one way you get stoned. There's only one way a person gets stoned. Do they stone you until you're knocked out? Or they stone you until you're dead? Question. Seriously. You're stoned to your death.
It's an execution.
And then the next day, Paul's up there teaching again. How the hell that happened? Most High brought him back to life, obviously. But then Paul said, rejoicing and confirming to the souls, you can't make the kingdom unless you go through tribulation. That's Acts 14:22. But Romans is saying, listen, man, what's going to get in the way of your production towards serving the Most High? Because I'm telling you this. I don't know if y'all been watching the news, but in Britain, there has been a lot of social riots going on. And a lot of different foreigners or non-English born people, they're fighting against English people in England. And they're kind of censoring what's going on. They're not really talking about it. But what is being talked about is anybody that's talking anti-government, they're trying to arrest them. People on Facebook that are speaking out against the government, they're literally trying to find out and track them and arrest them.
Because there's more immigrants in those European countries than national citizens.
And they've been allowing the leadership all in Europe has been allowing this influx to break down the country. What's happening in Texas now has been happening all in Europe. And people think that this thing in Texas is just about Issachar. That's the least of our problems. Issachar coming over here is nothing. You have military trained people coming from damn Texas and infiltrating the country. They're not just regular dudes. They're military trained people passing as Issachar. This whole that's two separate things.
Trojan horse.
It's two separate things. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to bring out, I was about to go into the immigration thing. That's not the focus. The focus is the censorship restrictions that are being pushed in England. You think that's not going to hit here? Just eventually, speaking and teaching the Bible is going to get banned. Standing up for what's right in the scriptures and prophesying is going to be banned. Then the question remains, are we going to stop doing the work because we're afraid of tribulation? Are we going to stop doing the will of the Father because we're afraid of getting arrested? Sent to boot camps, internment camps? This is real. So this scenario where people's life are at stake happened in Nehemiah's time, and it was happening during the time of the apostles. But don't get it twisted. It's coming close to us now. It's one thing to be spiritual as hell when your life is somewhat comfortable. It's different to maintain this same spiritual position at the risk of imprisonment. It's different.
Yeah.
We're going to see how Israel rolls when the real heat is on. Okay? So they showed, the people with Nehemiah showed that the fear of death, it might have slowed them down temporarily, but it didn't stop the work getting done. They showed they were able to weather through the fear of death, the fear of imprisonment, to push past to get this work done properly. Okay? Let all that go, and let's go to Josephus real quick. Let's go to Josephus. Can you get one from Josephus 11, book 11, chapter 6, paragraph 8. We're going to read it to 8.5. Because there's not a lot of Josephus that goes into Nehemiah, but this is when it kicks in with him. 11, like I said, 11, 6, and 8.
Antiquity of the Jews, book 11, chapter 6, paragraph 8, page 301.
Read it.
Accordingly, Mordecai did as Esther had enjoined.
No. 11, 6.
Yeah, that's
Chapter. No, I was wrong. It's chapter 5.
Oh.
In paragraph 8.
Okay, fine.
No, it's paragraph 5. This is 6. It's paragraph 5. Paragraph 5. Slack it. It's my fault.
Wait, so
There's no numbers in
It is. 11, 5, 8.
there. Okay.
Read that.
okay, come on. Antiquity of the Jews, Book 11, Chapter 5, Paragraph 8.
Yeah.
Come on. Page 297. 297. It says, "But now, when the Ammonites and Moabites and Samaritans and all that inhabited Cilicia,
Yes, Celesyria. Celesyria is the region east of Israel. Syria is the region of Syria, Ammon, Edom, all those areas east of the Jordan. Read on.
God, it says, heard that the building went on apace. They took it
Heinously.
heinously.
They hated it. They despised the fact that the pace of the wall was getting done quickly. They got halfway tall, 20 feet high. They was going to finish up with 40, but they were almost there. Read on.
God, it says, and proceeded to lay snares for them and to hinder their intentions. They also slew many of the Jews and saw how they might destroy Nehemiah
So
himself.
listen, there was a literal small body count on top of the threats. So it wasn't just
It's
threats. It wasn't just 10 separate reports like you read in the scriptures. There was real murder deaths going on over there. So this is, it kind of
And
clarifies
setups.
why the men who were the laborers who were taking the rubbish away didn't want to go out there and take the rubbish away. Because that was obviously when they were getting caught slipping. They were killing Jews that was getting caught outside of the temple. Okay? This is why they lost strength. They lost some men.
We're gonna make that trash run.
I did it last week. I did it yesterday. I ain't doing it 2 days in a row.
Yeah,
I ain't doing that 2 days in a row.
Paper, rock, scissors.
I ain't doing it. I know I lost. I did it yesterday. I ain't doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to fight right
I
here.
got a feeling about this.
So this is what's happening. So people were getting killed on top of all these bad reports. Read on.
God, now 175.
So once again, how many of us are going to have the faith to stick our neck out and do it when some of us have died doing it? That's a whole different way of looking at things. When the guy you was talking to was trying to do the work of the Lord like you, and he died yesterday, throwing this trash away, clearing out the space so we can do more work. You know what you're gonna hear then? We got to use wisdom, brothers. Then it's gonna be the wisdom talks, right or wrong. And I partially where my head is at, I understand. We can sit back and be tough guys all we want. How hard is it going to be to do this under legitimate threat of death? Read on.
They also slew many of the Jews and sought how they might destroy Nehemiah himself.
So they were sitting back here. If I take the head of the snake out, they're out. Let's find a way to catch Nehemiah slipping and wipe him out.
Smite the shepherd, the sheep shall scatter.
Kinda. Read on.
By hiring some of the foreigners to kill him.
Listen, they were sitting back here and hiring out mercenaries, huh? Shooters. No, shooters, obviously, but you get my point. They were hiring foreign mercenaries to take out Nehemiah. This was real, huh?
These are hitmen.
These are hitmen, huh?
Hitmen with a bag on your head. Because there's money on your head. Somebody put some money up to take you out.
Bro, when they start throwing money out like that, they might come from within your circle. You see what Elon Musk did to President Maduro in Venezuela? He put a $15 million bounty on his head. He said, listen, 15 million, anybody who takes Maduro out. He says, and this is real. I saw the tweet myself. Because Elon for weeks was talking about how the election in Venezuela was rigged, which it wasn't. But it was rigged. And that Maduro needs to get ousted. And it needs to bring the American, the pro-American leader to go into Venezuela. Listen, America's been going after Venezuela for 30 years. Okay? Point is, Elon was pushing heavy that the elections was rigged. He got proven wrong, and he was even tagged for misinformation on his own site.
You should have old videos.
He was showing old videos of old election fraud.
They were fighting the 80s out.
Yeah, it was all grainy pictures. He's like, this is what's happening now. No, it wasn't, because when the Maduro opposition was told, listen, just show us your evidence of voter fraud, they couldn't produce it. It was a hustle. They were trying to set up a coup to bring in the new guy to replace Maduro.
Let's get those oil, get that resource, get
that gold.
Get that
oil.
Freedom.
Hell, even Trump one day, he says, trust me, there was so much gold. We would have had our hand on so much oil. It would have been lovely. We would have had all this oil. He said it even when he was in power. Yeah. He wanted to get it. Everybody wants to get on that oil.
That's pretty good Trump, you know.
He said, trust me.
Yeah.
He said, there's so much oil.
We're going to be great.
It's such a great situation.
Yeah.
I never forget the energy. I was like, man, what is he saying? He really wants his hands on that. Point is this. All I'm saying is, what's his name? Musk said, listen, okay, this is what's facts. $15 million for this guy's head. I was like, damn, $15 million?
I thought you were just.
You telling me somebody in the cabinet wouldn't consider that?
I thought you just wanted to do good cars. I thought just a car.
Nah.
I thought you just wanted rockets to go in the sky, bro.
Nah. You use your platform because you know what they didn't say is that Maduro was pro-Palestine.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. He was walking around with Palestine flags and saying that the other guys that are mass genocide in the Palestinians are bad guys. Anyway, I'm not going to throw names up there. We don't need to get tagged.
Like what's his name? She's like the guy that Gaddafi.
Yeah.
It's the same spirit, same kind of circumstances. Gaddafi.
Listen, they sat back here online and said Venezuela, they have no food, and it's just the grocery stores are bare. There's an American journalist called Jackson Hinkle was in Venezuela showing all the grocery stores. It looked like HEB.
Yeah, smoothie.
They had gluten sections. I was like, gluten section? What's going on here?
Gluten free.
All the vegetables you want, glutinous. The cupboards were full of food. Is that an American grocery store?
Dragon fruits today?
Listen, what am I trying to say? Then they said there was protesting on the streets. He's driving down the highway. Everything's cool, like a Sunday afternoon on 410. I'm like, what's going on? Where's all the violence? There's nothing happening. Nobody was tripping in Venezuela. It wasn't. Anyway, what am I trying to say? He was putting a $15 million bounty on this guy's head. Things change when those numbers get like that.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the people that are right next to you might be having an itch. It creates a whole lot of distrust and even more fear.
And paranoia.
And that was when Maduro said, okay, 10-day ban on X. He sat back and made a national 10-day ban on X. You got to. When this guy's putting 15 million hits on you, you got to shut down X for a little bit. For your own safety. But then they'll say, oh, he's a dictator. He doesn't want freedom to be expressed. When a guy with that kind of money is offering $15 million for your head, you tell me you ain't going to shut that down? Would you?
15 M's.
I would. There is no X for 3 months. I'm pushing it back for more than 10 days.
That's going to be a year.
There will be no X for 3 months. So this idiot ain't pushing this $15 million bounty on me.
No Starlink.
Yeah, none of that stuff. You can have that stuff.
No Neuralink.
Exactly. We're going to have Yahoo, bro.
We're
going to have Yahoo service out. That's it.
Ask Jeeves. Jeeves. Do you think
Ask Jeeves? Oh my God.
I go outside today.
Hey, we're going to AOL. We're going back to AOL.
Your astrology sign is you are a Scorpio, and today's your lucky day.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. We're going back to the MIF mid-90s,
You
bro.
got mail, brother. Vincent would like to give you $15.
To try a new credit card. Yeah. So listen, I'm trying to tie it back in. I brought out Elon Musk about that $15 million bounty. You got these heads and these kings or these commanders or governors are putting the bounty on Nehemiah's head as well. Okay? And that makes it even more intensified. Corey, I need you to head out. It's that time. Adam, let's continue what you're doing.
And also, the satellite, that guy was named after the moon god of the Babylonians.
Okay.
So he's just, it's paganism also versus Israel.
Adam Shaw Shabbatah, Banya Hawada, Banya Sharalis.
Adam, Shaw Sabbath, Banya Hawla, Banya Shala. I'm much. What? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua.
Yahba Shem Yashabrakthon.
All right. So, we're back at Josephus, book 11, chapter 5, Salakia, paragraph 8. And let's go into where they said they also slew many of the Jews.
They also slew many of the Jews, and sought how they might destroy Nehemiah himself, by hiring some of the foreigners to kill him. They also put the Jews in fear, and disturbed them, and spread abroad rumors, as if many nations were ready to make an expedition against them.
Now, the scripture said it was 10 rumors, 10 separate rumors, that they were sitting back here and readying troops, gathering armies, and getting everybody ready to attack. Read on.
By which means they were harassed, and had almost left off the building.
That fear almost got them to say, man, we're gonna take a little break, man. But that fear was almost turned. Listen, they almost let that fear turn to them being afraid and stopping work and holding off. Read on.
You look at the KKK and what they used to do to neighborhoods in America. They would do night rides.
Yeah.
And they would just be fully dressed, all white. They'd have their horses draped in all white sheets. They have their little tiki torches going, and they just silently walk down your neighborhood, flamed up with torches, quietly without saying nothing. So they come into
You know what they mean.
You know exactly what they mean, and they get to a house, they set up the cross, they burn the cross in your yard. You wake up in the morning, you see a cross burning in your yard,
Or you see it happening in real time.
yeah.
What you gonna do?
And then so you got to either say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in this neighborhood, or it's time to leave, or it's time to get out of here. We got to make a decision. Are you gonna raise your kids there? They firebomb your house at night, throw some Molotov cocktails through your window, or you gonna stay or you gonna leave?
Brother.
But that's what's been done to our people many times over.
God. And it takes a lot of courage and faith to persevere. And with all the threats that were surrounding us, we had the perseverance to keep fighting, even though we were close to quitting. Read on.
But none of these things could deter Nehemiah from being diligent about the work. He only set a number of men about him as a guard to his body.
So he said, I'm going to sit back here and let loose, meaning have less of a bodyguard, so I can use more of my forces to secure the perimeter. So that was even more of a leadership move that he took. He knew he had a bounty against him. And he said, listen, with a bounty on my head, I'm going to have a small crew to protect me for the sake of everybody being protected. So I'll take some of my detail and spread it out amongst this 2.5 mile long wall to reinforce everything. Once again, that shows leadership. A regular person who was full of fear would have kept everybody around him. Would have kept his detail maximized and protected. But he sat back and said, no, I'm not going to sit back here. Because if I do that, that's me showing these people no solidarity and love.
I'm more important than them.
Exactly. So let me sit back here, split my forces so everybody is looked after. That's how you're supposed to operate. Read on. That's how a leader operates. Read on.
And so unweariedly persevered therein, and was insensible.
He says, and so unweariedly, meaning their moves and their plights didn't break him. It didn't break him. It didn't weary him to the point where he gave in. Read on.
And was insensible of any trouble out of his desire to perfect this work.
That's phenomenal. He says he was insensible of any trouble out of his desire to perfect this work. What is he saying right there, to be insensible of any trouble? Let's look up insensible real quick.
Yeah.
To be insensible of any trouble. Insensible means destitute of the power of feeling or perceiving, not susceptible of emotion or passion, void of feeling. What does that mean? Because, listen, it's not that he was unaware of the present danger that was in front of him, but he knew that there was danger, but he didn't let the danger affect him physically. Meaning, what am I trying to express? In order to get something accomplished, knowing that there's danger, knowing that you're going to have to sacrifice, you have to be disconnected to a degree. You have to be emotionally disconnected to get the job done. Is what I'm saying making sense? You have to be able to do the job, know that there's fear, know that there can be loss, but also be emotionally disconnected enough to not let my feelings start to
Define.
change. I was watching yep.
He was void of the feeling of loss.
Yes. But and the fear of
Guilt.
huh? Well, guilt or
Guilt.
huh? Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you can't care what happens to you. Whatever happens. Let me get my job done. Not that this is somewhat of a similar thing. I was watching the Olympics a couple days ago, right? And they were like, it was archery competition, and the baddest archers in the world are South Koreans, right? I'm like, why are these guys so badass, man? It was this one dude. This guy drinks 3 beers a day, man, at least, or a 6-pack. I can tell you. It was a regular guy, Korean dude. His belly's out there. He doesn't get like. He's just out there. He's a regular dude. He's not in shape. He's smiling. But you know, but they were sitting back. It was him against. I saw like 4 or 5 matches. There was some Germans in there. It was a woman and man combination. The woman was good, but she wasn't as good as the dude. Then you had the Germans. You had the Chinese, some other group. But what made the South Koreans so badass is they were sitting back here when they were trying to shoot the shots. They were looking at the guy's BPM. His blood pressure was like the lowest, bro. It was like an 83, 84 beats per minute. He was just like, it doesn't even matter. Ace, bow, bow. But everybody else's was like 90, 94. And what was it? What did I see about it? He was knocking out big time shots when it counted the most, and it was like a regular day at the damn bar. You know, you see those guys with those darts and shit? They're throwing the darts in the bar. They got like 7 beers and they're buzzing. Well, I gotta hold my beer. And you sitting back here, you're knocking them and you're hey, everything's cool, you having fun. He's knocking down top end archery jobs, and his BP is like he's regular day on a Sunday afternoon. That was why he won. You can do all the training in the world. All these guys are putting the work in. There was a couple times that the girl shot a couple average shots. He came in, no emotion, just wow. Everything's cool. Right in the middle. Points are legit again. Tone sweater. I got it. Oh, you gonna be like, okay, don't worry about it. Bah. That was what. Listen, all these people. It's all they do anyway. Why is one guy better than the other guy?
Straight G guy.
One guy can do it, and his blood pressure ain't high. His beats aren't getting. He ain't getting more afraid. He's not getting more nervous. This is for all the marbles, bro. You in South Korea, this is how you get your money. Winning gold, bro. So if you're getting gold and if you're getting silver and bronze, your money don't get less. They're gonna try to replace you. Your life is on the line right here, bro. And this guy's heart's like, it doesn't matter. Bow! 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 I knew he was gonna get the gold anyway. Why am I bringing this up? Individuals who can accomplish great things can do it. They can detach. They can detach their feelings and emotions to get the job done. This is what Nehemiah was doing. He knew he was at risk of death when he gave less people on his security detail. But he says they need to see me rolling around with just a crew of 2 or 3. If they see me rolling with 2, they ain't going to sweat it. They got to see me calm and poised because I believe it's going to work out, and I can't worry about if I'm die or not. The guys who can lead, the people who can perform great when it matters the most, have that low BPM when it matters. They're detached. They're insensible. You know what they are? They're insensible to worst case scenarios. That's how you can perform great. I'm not going to allow my mind to focus on what's the worst that can happen. Of course they can come and invade. Of course this army can come and wipe me out. Well, why am I going to get my mind there? I'm going to focus on what I can control. And what I can do. And I'm going to be insensible to meditating on how things can go bad. That's how great people can perform on a consistent level. They're not giving their mind and thinking too much on how things can go bad. I don't know about you. When I played sports, and there was a time in my life when I thought about what's the worst that can happen, guess what happened? The ball went right to me. And you know what? When my mind wasn't right, there was a mistake.
Yeah.
But 80 to 90% of the time, when my mind was like completely confident and not focused on what's the worst that can happen, when it came to me, I succeeded, or it never came to me. A lot of times, the ball goes to the person who's worried about what's bad's going to happen. That's in the sports arena. And it happens also in real life, too. If you're overly consumed about what bad's going to happen, it's going to happen. So what's the solution? The solution is not to be overly sensible about worst case scenarios and operate in the moment. For the Most High. Read that part again.
And was insensible of any trouble out of his desire to perfect this work.
Because the only thing that mattered was the work. So I'm not going to be overly sensitive to what bad can happen, what I can lose. Focus on failure. He's like, I can sit back and focus on all this shit. I got to get this work done.
I got to pull a scripture on that.
Let me hurry up and get this work done. The quicker we finish this, quicker everybody can be relieved. What you going to say?
This Philippians 4:6-8.
This is a great insight about leaders. They're not ignorant of loss. They're not ignorant of danger. They're insensible to danger. They are insensible to danger. They're not emotionally tied into worst case scenarios. What verse you going to pull?
Philippians 4:6. It's a common scripture, but this point brings the clarity of how he understood this point.
Man, that's a hell of a perspective. You're conscious of danger, but you're not given to thinking about the danger. What you got? What's your verse you got?
Philippians 4:6.
What that, sir?
Be careful for nothing.
Do what?
Be careful for nothing.
Be careful for nothing.
And that careful means anxiety. When you sit back and look up that word careful,
Yes, right here.
it's anxiety.
Careful. Full of care. Anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Watchful.
And anxious is anxiety.
Calm.
There can't be a scenario where you're overly consumed about the bad.
Exposing to concern, anxiety, or trouble.
Huh?
I can't fascinate my mind with the negative aspect of what I'm doing. I have to, on the contrary, do what? What's the contrary point? What does it say?
But in everything by prayer and supplication.
I got to focus on my spiritual routine.
The routine and your technique. I got to focus on my what do I got to do? How can I be more efficient at this job? How can I be more efficient at my responsibility? Versus I got to detach emotion and focus on the responsibility. That's key. Yes, you have to send prayers up. You're asking for protection. But in the midst of you asking for protection, once you send the prayer up, it's up to the Most High on how He sets that up. So while the Most High is working out this protection for me, let me lock in on what I need to do to protect myself to the best of my ability and to perfect my job and responsibility to the best of my ability.
That's it.
Okay. You got something, Sean?
Yeah, well, read Ecclesiastes 31 and 1. 1 and 2.
Yep. Who got it?
31 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
All wisdom cometh from the
No,
Most.
Ecclesiastes
31.
31.
Oh, sorry. 31 and 1. Watching for riches
It said watching for riches does what?
consumeth the flesh.
Worrying about money or worrying, period. When you worry about something too much, it does what?
Consumeth the flesh.
It destroys you. Worrying is not something that is going to benefit you. You can care about something too much to where it becomes problematic. And so, it's specifically, when it comes to money, because money is something that is hard to come by, and it don't come by that easy. Money be driving people crazy, or the fear of losing it or not having it drives people crazy. He said, watching for riches does what?
Consumeth the flesh.
Read.
And the care thereof.
And the care thereof does what?
Driveth away sleep.
You can't sleep at night when you worry about something too much. It takes your sleep away. Now, if Nehemiah is already got night raiders, murderers, night stalkers, body snatchers, killing people at night.
Yeah.
Stick up kids, hire guns.
He got bags on his head. He got hitmen out to get him. But if he worries about that too much, sleep is already slim.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll really drive himself mad if he got to worry about what's standing in opposition to him, the condition of the situation, and the project. He can't do both. You can't serve two masters.
Yep.
So you got to either say, you know what, I can't worry about this. I can't let this control my mind. Or I'm going to just focus on the project. Or I'm going to be consumed with the idea that something bad's about to happen and I might die any day now or any minute. Read on.
Then you start making mistakes.
Yeah, then the project slips.
Yep.
Read.
Watching care will not let a man slumber.
And that's the whole point. Watching care, when you worried about something too much, it will not let you do what?
Slumber.
It will not let you sleep. When you got too much anticipation built up and too much anxiety built up for some reason, for whatever reason, you will not get good sleep. You will be up, pacing, up. Your sleep is light because your mind won't let your body go into a REM sleep.
And the spirit just stops working with you. You won't get the answers you're looking for because you're so pent up with emotion.
Yep.
But keep going, I'm sorry.
So he's showing how when you're worried about something too much, it becomes a problem. It becomes dangerous. It starts affecting your health. And Nehemiah, he had ice in his veins to be able to stand up and focus on the job amidst all the dysfunction, amidst all the antagonization, the enemies that was around him. Man, he had to have complete trust and faith in the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a reminder that this is what we need to have versus, fear of, hey, my money's bad. Because brothers be tripping, sisters be tripping when that money get affected.
Yep.
In this day and age, this caused a lot of people to make drastic moves and extreme moves.
Yep.
And this is what makes men desperate, is when that money don't be right. Then they start making one bad decision after another.
Yep.
It stack up.
It stacks up. And then you start to see a downward spiral. Like, damn, brother, why would you do that? Why would you make that move? That move was made out of desperation. Why was it made out of desperation? Because there was too much fear and worry involved.
Yep.
And then it steers a man in another direction. And you can't build anything properly. You let that go.
I want to go back to what Dariel was pulling in Philippians 4 because this is a really good, the end of it really ties in how not to be careful for nothing. Because Paul is saying don't let anxiety tear you up. Don't let that sensibility about your, even when we did with brothers at the mall with sales, they were overly sensitive to a customer's response. Overly sensitive to their reaction.
It changes the whole day.
You got to sit back here, sell, acknowledge that they want to leave, but then all of a sudden disconnect and still keep doing your job.
Yeah.
And other people will sit back here, see these things, and be overly hyper-focused on what they're feeling from somebody and lose the customer, lose the sale.
And great quarterbacks on a sporting arena. Because, Everybody on sale. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just using that because we're gonna go back to the point. But yeah,
Yeah, but I'm just
great people in anything is a BPM thing.
They say great quarterbacks forget the last play because they don't let the failure of the last play dictate the being mentally cognizant and in the moment and executing properly the play.
Hell, that's hitters in baseball. Don't forget the last at bat. That's golfers. Tiger Woods did the same thing. If I sit back and bogey a hole, after it happened, I'm no longer thinking about it. I'm focused on what's in front of me. All great people have the same antidote. The secret sauce is the same. It's can you do it every day? Can you do it? But let's go to this verse, Philippians 4:6.
4 and 6. Top.
Yep.
Be careful for nothing.
So, be careful for nothing means don't let your anxiety, don't ever be in a situation and place where anxiety is dominating you, where you're overly sensible to your conditions. Read on.
But in everything, by prayer and supplication.
But he says, with everything, if something is bothering you that bad, if you're overly stressed in any arena, this is why you have to pray. You're supposed to pray. The mechanism to defend or fend off fear and anxiety and stress is prayer. And once I send that prayer up, that should allow you to go back and being insensible about the work you do and insensible about the fear and repercussions of the loss you're worried about. Read verse 6 again from the top.
Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known.
So the thing is this. This is very important. You have to pray and supplicate with thanksgiving. So let's just use Nehemiah's situation. I have to pray to the Most High. Nehemiah has to pray to protect the people, to protect him. Because the Most High knows Nehemiah's intention was only to protect the people and rebuild the wall in the Lord's name. That's the prayer and supplication, right? What's the thanksgiving part of it? You know what, Father? I'm 35 years old. You have blessed me with a great life. If it's your will to remove me off this earth, and if it's your will to not have this responsibility and job completed, then I am okay with that. But I'm going to keep going forward. So if I'm going to sit back, but think about that. That alone should make a person and force a person to come to grips with their situation so they don't let the fear of what might happen next cloud their judgment and cloud their work. You have to pray. Remember what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said to Nebuchadnezzar? They said, listen, I know the Lord can remove me and save us out of this situation with this fire. But if he chooses not to do that, I'm fine with that too. That was prayer and supplication and thanksgiving. I'm okay if you don't want me to have this. If I got to be a martyr today, I'm okay with that. I accept that I took this stand against Nebuchadnezzar for the Most High. So however you want to play it, I'm cool with it. You know what that does? That allows the individual who prayed to detach from that fear of what might happen next. Now I'm insensible. Now I'm not caught up in the panicking what might happen. Let me just do the best I can to secure the people and get back on my job. But what keeps a person from having thanksgiving? I really don't want to lose what I might have to lose. And because I don't want to lose what the Most High might put me through, now I can't send the prayer. I can send the prayer, but I'm still stressing behind it. Does that make sense? There's a lot of quiet.
Last point, I kind of couldn't really hear it because you compounded like three statements together.
What part did I miss? What part? What part
I don't know.
was missed?
I after like the section, I'm like,
That's like Daniel praying in the lion.
Yeah.
Oh, well, praying inside the flame.
Well, that's what I said. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they said, listen, because before they was in the flame, when they were in the flame, everything was good. They won already. They were like praising the Most High.
Yeah.
But before, when that oven was at around 5,000 degrees,
yeah,
they were sitting back here like, you know
on
what?
your knees. Huh?
Nebuchadnezzar, listen, bro.
Right.
The Most High can get me out of this. But if he doesn't, I still made the right decision. That allows you to stay in the spirit.
Yeah, spirit.
It's prayer and supplication. It's what Christ did. Listen, Father, if you can let this cup pass through me, I would really like that. But let thy will be done. That's prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving. If you want me to go through this, I'm okay either way. That's the only way you can. That's what you use prayer to do, to eliminate the anxiety. But the only way you really eliminate the anxiety is the acceptance of the Most High's will one way or the other. It's not just prayer, it's prayer with works. But what's the works? The works is the acknowledging that I would like you to come through for me, Father. But you don't have to. And if you don't have to, that's okay also. If you choose not to, it's not going to stop what I'm doing. So let me keep doing the right thing. That is how you can eliminate the anxiety that could get in the way of what you're doing for the Most High. You got that? Okay. It's very important, and I'm okay with taking my time on this because that's important then. And this is all based upon Nehemiah was being insensible of any trouble. He was aware of the trouble, but he had already sent his prayers up in verse 9 of Nehemiah. So he was past the what if bad things happen. He's like, listen, if it's bad going to happen, it's going to happen. And it's the Lord's will if it happens. But I can't focus on if the Most High decides to sit back here and smash me. All I can focus on is doing right in case he doesn't smash me.
What's the goal?
So let me be insensible to the what ifs, the worst case scenarios, the anxieties, the being overly careful, so I can stay potent to do my job.
Because we let everything around us in our life on a
dictate
level,
who we are.
You're not in control. The elements around you are in control.
This is why what Nehemiah is operating in is a spirit of integrity. I'm never changing my original state. I can accept whatever whatever verdict the Most High wants to give me, I accept it. But what I can control is doing things right. Before the Most High gives me the verdict, He don't give me good or bad. Yes.
Yeah, what if you pray in that manner, but things are real? You're still you going.
Things were real for Nehemiah. Listen, they had a hint. Listen, he was public enemy number one. You ever see like Harry Potter? Right? Everywhere you saw Harry Potter's face, this guy's gonna die. Everywhere you go, we gotta get this guy. Now, we're going to a stupid TV show, but you get the point. Everywhere he went, his face is on the damn bulletin board.
To come to grip with being written.
And those stupid like magical these faces like this, and he's moving around and stuff like that. The point is this: this is what's happening to Nehemiah. If you see this man, kill him. 1,000 shekel reward.
You're being constantly in your face.
This guy knows what the damn deal is.
Before or after? Let's say the job is done. That don't mean he ain't. I'm gonna get you off a GP, bro.
Listen, later on, after the job is done, they want to talk to him. They want to kill him, huh?
Yeah.
After the job is done,
They're not gonna be like, okay, you know what? We're gonna. Oh, you didn't finish. Hey, I want my money back, y'all.
we're going to read in chapter 6, I think. They said, listen, man, we want to have all the leaders in the surrounding area want to have a meeting with you. Just talk about the direction you're going to take.
Oh,
He's like, no, I'm kind of busy, man.
Yeah.
They sent him like multiple letters asking him for a meeting.
I injected the pus.
So they're trying to sit back here and pull him and kill him.
Exactly.
You too, Brutus? They want to do this guy in, huh? So, yeah. Eat too, Brutus. Point is this. What am I trying to say? This was real for him too. That's why I said earlier, listen, right now we're just in Bible story time. Our lives are at stake for teaching this shit. So a lot of times we're teaching and prophesying in part, or we're sitting back here rehearsing the righteous acts. But there's going to come a time we're going to live this. So to your point, you got to live this. We're all in a situation where we're learning these things, but you have to have this mindset. This isn't some just make-up fictitious zone. Most of the time, when I see men accomplish things in the spirit, they got to have this mindset. You can't be afraid of something false. I can't focus on that. All I can focus on is being in order with the Most High and doubling down on the right mindset.
And also prayer is just the introductory element to steps in faith. If you can get Ecclesiastes chapter 38, verse 9.
And I'm gonna let them keep going. It's Ecclesiastes 38:9, right? But just think about this. It's the intro, and I know there's different mental processes you have to go through. But prayer, and if I can acknowledge and accept with that thanksgiving, however it's gonna go. What does that do? It takes you off the hook stress-wise. We're dealing with how in the hell was Nehemiah insensible in this stressful time? He's like, you know, bro, there's one play here. Nehemiah had one play. Hurry the hell up and finish this damn wall. There's no other play. We're going to go out here and talk to these guys. Every time we've talked to the nation in history, the leader got killed. Judas, what did you got to do? Try to talk to the people. Try to talk to these damn Greeks. And they killed him. Multiple Maccabees tried the peace route and got killed. They didn't get killed on the battlefield. They got killed in the boardroom. So that don't work. Nehemiah going and doing this and talking to these guys would have been the worst move ever. The only play he had was to double down and finish the work. And pray the Most High came through. That's it. But so now the question is, how do you de-stress? How do you operate and do a difficult situation knowing the pressure zone that you can lose everything and still make the move and be insensible about it? It's through prayer and the acceptance that it's the only play I can make. Whatever the Most High's will to be is to be. Now, for us in practical terms, the question will be, did you counsel? Did you counsel before your endeavor? Because you can't take this all-in approach when it's team you with your planning. And you can't do that. He said, in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. When you counsel and you establish your direction, that's when you double down on your premise. We'll keep going, Central.
Read that. Because I want to get to that point also that you brought up. How do you de-stress in the face of adversity? That's a great question. Mm-hmm. Prayer is just the first step. Read that.
Sirach 38:9. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent.
It's the first thing, no matter what the situation is. Say for example, you're sick, which is a situation you can't control. You don't control your healing. He says, but the first thing you do, be not negligent, meaning you don't be forgetful or you don't cast away what?
But pray unto the Most High.
So he said, be not negligent. What's the first thing people forget to do when they hit a situation? They forget to bring the Most High into the situation. When you're praying to the Most High, you're involving Him into your situation. The first thing people do when they hit a situation is, I got to figure this out. I got to come up with an answer. I got to come up with a solution. You know what you'll find out? You're not strong enough, wise enough, smart enough, knowledgeable enough to figure it out on your own. Because the man normally likes to lean on himself and his own knowledge. All the ways of man are right where? In his own eyes. So man naturally would want to try to figure out his problems and come up with his own solutions. But the first thing you got to do is you got to incorporate the Most High into your situation. But men forget to do that. That's why it says, be not negligent, but what?
But pray unto the Most High.
But pray unto the Most High. So that's step one. That's the initial step that you do when you hit a situation, or you hit a wall, or you're building a wall. You pray to the Most High. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 28.
Proverbs 22 and 28.
Mm-hmm. Read that.
Proverbs 22 and 28. Remove not the ancient landmark.
Right. He said, remove not the ancient landmark. Why does the scripture say don't remove the ancient landmark? What is the purpose of a landmark?
Set boundaries.
It set boundaries. What else?
Let you know where you're going.
It lets you know where you're going. It gives you direction. That's what landmarks does. It set boundaries. It gives you direction. It lets you know where you're going. For example, go to Genesis chapter 12, verse 7 real quick.
Genesis 12 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High appeared unto Abram.
So
said,
the Most High appeared unto who?
Abram.
Read.
And said, unto thy seed will I give this land.
Read.
And there builded he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him.
So why did Abraham build an altar? Why did he make a landmark? Gratitude for what? If we're not supposed to remove the ancient landmarks, the Most High appeared unto Abram. After he appeared to him, he built an altar. Why did Abraham build that altar? Yes, sir.
To commemorate when he was doing the Most High.
It's commemorate, but also it's what? It's a reminder. See, the Most High said, remove not the ancient landmark, because you got to look at the nuggets that the Most High leaves behind for your situation to let you know why you shouldn't give up. That altar is a reminder why I should not quit. The Most High has gave me many situations, and I got to look at those situations. I got to look at those landmarks. I got to look at those situations where the Most High was with me. Nehemiah has to be able to dig deep and say, man, why should I quit when I got enemies on me? Because I got to be able to look back and know, hey, man, the Most High been with me. First of all, the Most High put it in his hands and commissioned him to even be on this journey. Why would he give up that journey when he's able to look back and say, man, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for the Most High. I was a cupbearer. I was a cupbearer in the court of Artaxerxes. How did I get to be able to be financed and protected to build a wall with the king's authority to build a wall when now I got some enemy and some invaders? If I don't look back at the Most High commemorating the situation, looking back at the Most High how long he's been with me, I would fail in my future pursuits. So the reason why the landmarks are so important is because those are reminders that the Most High has appeared to you before. So why quit now? See, if you take away the landmark, then you take away the situations where all the times where you were in a pinch or you were in a bind and you forgot that the Most High was with you the whole time. This is why we tell men, don't forget what the Most High has done. When men have a good day at the mall, they blow it up. Oh man, they blow them. They hit the total. They hit 300. They hit 500 in a day, or they have a great day at the mall or the zone. We tell men, you better not forget this situation. This is a testimony. Same thing as a landmark. Same thing as an altar. This is a testimony because every day is not going to be successful. Every day is not going to be a winning day. So you better not forget that the Most High came through at the last minute. Last customer of the day, customer spent $100, $200, $300. Last cut, you been at zero all day. Last sale of the day, the Most High came through for you. Why shouldn't you forget that? Because that's a landmark. That commemorates a situation where the Most High was with you. You acknowledge that. But men are forgetful. In the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of what?
Of pleasure.
Of affliction.
Affliction.
Affliction. Come on.
And in the day of affliction, there's a forgetfulness of what? Prosperity. Men forget that the Lord has been with them. And this is why they quit and they get weak. Because they're not able to look back and say, man, let me look at those landmarks. Man, the Most High was with me at that time. I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the Most High, so why am I tripping now? Why would I let this current situation bother me or hinder me, knowing that the Most High has been with me previously?
Come.
That's why you don't remove the landmarks. That's why Abram built the landmark. Read that again one more time.
Genesis 6.
Yep. Genesis chapter 12, verse 7.
Genesis 12:7. And the Most High appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him.
Why he built an altar right there?
That's where the Most High appeared to him.
Because that's where the Most High was with him.
So don't forget this.
You don't forget when the Most High is with you. You make that a monumental.
It wasn't about idolatry.
It was not about idolatry. You making it a moment to remember.
Yeah.
This is a moment to remember. I remember this situation. I remember the victory. I remember the situation where the Most High, I was praying that I didn't know where I was going, but the Most High said, man, I'm going to make you a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Your name going to be Abram. You're going to be a father of many nations. You know what? Let me go ahead and get these stones real quick. Let me go ahead and put these stones together so I never forget that the Most High was with me. Because so many times, men so often forget that the Lord is with them. And then they become quitters.
Yeah.
Then they give up and their faith is low. Then when they hit a little adversity, when they hit a little wall, they have a little problem. Man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Man, I don't know if it's too many enemies on me. I got enemies. I got haters. I got too many haters. Well, don't you remember when the Most High appeared to you? That's why you don't remove the landmarks. Those are to commemorate a special time when you weren't alone.
Yep.
Last one, James chapter 5, verse 11.
James 5:11. Behold, we count them happy which endure.
That's why he says we count them happy, which what?
Endure.
That's why Nehemiah, we count Nehemiah happy because he's what? He's enduring all the tribute. He's enduring the murderers, the raiders, the killers.
And every lesson he experienced from in the Persian Mede kingdom that got him to be the cupbearer, which is the manager of the significant royal affairs, prepared him for this adversity.
That's why he wasn't shaken.
Just like every single one of us have gone, the things we've gone through or that we should have gone through at the time that we had, prepare us for the next battle that's in front of us.
Right?
Ye have heard of the patience of Job.
That's why it said. That's why the scriptures say we count them happy which endure. You don't quit when you hit adversity. You don't get weak when things get real. First thing you do is pray. You involve the Most High into your situation. The second thing you do is look back how long the Most High been with you, even in the time of previous troubles.
Yep.
You remind yourself, man, the Most High been with me when I was down and out, when I didn't have answers, when I had this situation, my back was against the wall. I didn't know where I was going. The Most High was with me. Then you got to look back and remind yourself that you're not alone. Fear will make you get the notion that you're by yourself. That's why it says fear is a betraying of the succors, which is safety that reason offering. Fear tries to get you to say, no, you're by yourself and you don't got no help. Prayer is saying, no, I do have help. The Most High is my help. And the reminder is, man, he's been with me before. So why should I quit now? That's why it says, you've heard the patience of Job. Read.
And have seen the end of the Most High.
And you've seen the end of what?
The Most High.
You've seen the end of what the Most High does.
You've seen the Most High come through for you. The
Right.
end is he came through for you. So you've seen it work. That's what it gets you prepared for the next battle. Because you finished and you saw him come through now. You use that and keep that in the back of your head for the next battle that's coming in front of you.
You use those battles as
The victories.
landmarks.
Exactly.
You use those as landmarks and moments in time to commemorate and remember that you're not by yourself and you don't have to quit.
Yep.
Read.
That Yahweh is very pitiful.
And he's pitiful. That the Most High is pitiful. And what else?
And of tender mercy.
And he's merciful. So why should I quit? I know what the Most High does in the end. The Most High, if I don't quit, if I stop complaining, stop looking at the worst of the situation, I know that the Most High is pitiful and he's merciful. So for that reason, is why you should go even harder even stronger in whatever your endeavor is or whatever your adversity is for that reason. But we forget that the Most High has been with us. We forget how pitiful and merciful the Most High is. And that's why it's so important that you don't forget your victories that you have in Christ. Because you need to pull on those for ammunition at a later time. You're going to have to pull on those victories, those previous victories, as motivation to get you past the next battle, the next chapter.
Yeah.
This is why Nehemiah is not tripping.
Yep. Everything you said is right. Everything you said is right. You got more on that?
No, that's it.
Let's go back to Philippians 4 and 6 real quick. Read that.
You said Philippians 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Philippians 4 and 6. Be careful for nothing.
So now we're going back to that stress. Or he says, don't be stressful. Don't be anxious. Don't be overburdened by what you're going through. And Nehemiah is a perfect example of not being overburdened by what he's going through. Read on.
But in everything by prayer.
But he says everything when scenarios, stressful situations hit you, the first thing you have to do is pray. But then what you're praying for is the supplication part. The supplication part is to humbly ask the Most High to get us through the circumstance that we're going through. Read on.
But in everything by prayer and supplication.
So with prayer and supplication, read on.
With thanksgiving.
With thanksgiving. So I have to humbly pray and petition that the Most High removes the situation from us. Thanksgiving also ties in with the experiences that the Most High has got us through leading up to this point. I have thanksgiving. I'm appreciative because I've seen the Most High come to me and come through for me all the way up to this point. So I know the Most High is real. He's been there for me. That's how I can be appreciative for the situation I'm in. Whether I get what I want in this petition or not doesn't matter. I still know the Most High is with me. I guess that was what I was driving, even with the three holy children. They knew the Most High was with them, regardless if they stayed physically safe or had to get thrown into that fire. Because they had experiences of the Most High being there for them when they were getting taught in those Babylonian schools after their heinous situation happened to their flesh. They saw the Most High come through for them tremendously also. So that's part of that thanksgiving, peaceful mindset that allowed them not to let the stress of the moment break them. It still goes back in game. I know the Most High is with me. He's been there with me. But if it don't go the way I want it, I can accept dying this day. But I'm not going to sit back and stop the path that I'm going. And that is what Nehemiah was. He was resolute in the job. And whether he failed, if he died, it failed, it didn't matter. He did to do his job and keep going the course and not stop. Let's let that go. Let's go back to the Josephus. We are in, and was insensible. Now, let's just say he only set a number of men about him as a guard to his body. Let's put that part there. He only set a number of men about him as a guard to his body, and so unweariedly preserved therein.
And you want me to continue from there? Or
No, just read that part. He only.
Okay. He only set a number of men about him as a guard to his body.
That means I'm going to go with a lesser group, a lesser number group, to show the people that it's more about securing the area than me.
Even though
I'm more
in danger.
His life is a greater danger, but I'm more focused on the body being secure than me being secure. Read on.
And so unweariedly preserved therein, and was insensible of any trouble out of his desire to perfect this work.
The work had to get done. The wall had to get done. And I'm not letting the fear and the emotion of the moment break me. Read on.
And thus did he
Another way of saying this is tunnel vision. He had tunnel vision on the work, on the job. Read on.
And thus did he attentively and with great forecast take care of his own safety. Not that he feared death, but out of this persuasion that if he were dead, the walls for his citizens would never be raised.
So you see how he was able to separate the fear of death and stay focused on the job. He says, I'm not worried about dying. I'm just worried about getting this job done. Because that's what it takes to get past the adversity that's in front of you. We done?
He also gave orders that the builders should keep their ranks and have their armor on while they were building.
He says, so now you guys got to build with armor on. That's not easy.
That's heavier.
Yes, it is.
That's harder.
I'm
That's
not saying
more comfortable.
Yes. I'm not saying that they wore like chainmail,
Just leather.
but I put chainmail on for a Passover day. I couldn't breathe. Listen, my heart was. I said, why is my heart pumping so much? I like I'm running a damn marathon. I said, oh dummy, you got 10 pounds more on you.
No, that was about almost 80.
I forgot, bro, because it was the chainmail and the headpiece. I was like, bro, this don't feel awesome.
It looks baller on.
It looked dope. I was like, plow. I got stiletto zone. Listen, I'm back in the ancient times. Until we start sending prayers up. And I'm standing. I'm like, damn, now I'm standing with this heavy weight. I got to get this. Oh, it was a Passover. I'm like, bro. And you know, prayers are extra long in Passover, right? Like, I'm like,
calling Uriel, calling
Raphael,
calling Ariana.
I'm like, bro, I'm
Let your
about to
wisdom
pass
grace
out.
be upon us.
And I'm like this. I was like, bro, when this lamb gets out here, I'm going to the restroom. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm getting this headpiece off at least. But they're sitting back here and still lifting boulders with armor on. The people were on a way greater level back then. And when we read Ezra, remember Ezra? He said the men back then were way worse than the men back in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's day. So how much worse are we?
Yeah.
They were on another level with Nehemiah. They lifting boulders and massive rocks with war weaponry on. Well, let's keep going.
Accordingly, the mason had a sword on, as well as he that brought the materials for building.
So them dudes had to be girded for sure. Because they going back and forth out the city. They had to be war ready. Swords, armor, the whole nine. Yep. Yeah.
He also appointed that their shields should lie very near them, and he placed trumpeters at every 500 feet.
So every 500 feet, they had somebody that can let everybody know, gear up, they're coming. So those trumpeters were watchmen. So you had watchmen, you had laborers, you had the actual architects, all grinding with no sleep. Because they got to do watch at night also. Read on.
And charged them that if their enemies appeared, that they should give notice of it to the people, that they might fight in their armor, and their enemies might not fall upon them naked. He also went about the compass of the city by night, being never discouraged.
So that means, listen, once again, being the leader Nehemiah was, he's the one doing guard duty. The top dog is up at night, making sure things are run properly. So he ain't getting no sleep. He's up all day. He's up all night, monitoring 2.5 miles of space. Read on.
Neither about the work itself, nor about his own diet and sleep.
He said, listen, he also went about the compass of the city, 2.5 miles a day, 2.5 miles at a time, by night, never discouraged. Why? Because the leader can't be sitting back here in his head. He's always got to have an answer, solution, upbeat, not downtrodden. He just walking the damn city gates while everybody's on a high alert, positive, strong, motivating people. Phenomenal leader, man. Read on.
For he made no use of those things for his pleasure, but out of necessity.
But he says neither about the work itself, nor about his own diet and sleep. That means this guy will maybe getting 2 hours a day. Because he's most importantly needed in the day and the night. You got to be up at night because everybody's afraid. It's almost like the strong have to know a stronger guy is up, moving, so they can get rest. Right or wrong? So he got to ease the people to get a little bit of rest. He got to take that pill of no sleep. Poor diet, no sleep, but still looking strong and showing the people no weakness. That's what leadership is. Read on.
In this trouble, he underwent for 2 years and 4 months.
Now that time is disputed because I don't know how it can be 2 years and 4 months if the work took 52 days. So I don't know why they put 2 years and 4 months. We know that he stayed in Jerusalem for like 12 years, but that was in totality. I can't see, unless they're maybe setting up a timetable, like when he first got there, when the conditions were there. Maybe they started construction a few months or a year later after he got there, but it doesn't say that in the scripture, so I can't go off of 2 years and 4 months. I don't know why he threw that out there. Because historically, it took 52 days from the time of construction to the end of construction. But I also know it took some time to get from Persia to Israel, and it took him some time to kind of get an assessment about the city. So maybe they're just saying from the time he started until the construction was completed was 2.5 years. Maybe that's what they're saying. 2 years and 4 months. Maybe that's what they're saying. But I can't really connect on that particular time. But hold that. I think we get the gist of it. And let's continue, because the rest of it goes into when the walls were finished. We're not there yet in the story. So let that go now. Let's get back to Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 13. Now we're in Nehemiah 4 and 13.
Therefore sat I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places. I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows.
Now we're tying into the preparations for war at night. He's like, listen, I had these workers bring all their families inside the city walls. Why? Because obviously there were reports of the Jews that were living outside of Jerusalem being attacked and being messed with. So we got to bring all these brothers' families inside the city walls, because we have a better chance of protecting ourselves if we get everybody from the outside cities to come in. We have one place we can secure and go at these enemies. Read on.
And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Most High, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses.
So he had the words and the motivation and the example to keep everybody potent. He's sitting back here and reassuring everybody in the night. He's reassuring everybody in the day. He says he wasn't eating well, which means what? He was eating what everybody else was eating. They couldn't sit back here and see him eating royal and comfortable and smiling, and they're struggling.
He has hot crumpets, and they're eating broken pieces of bread.
Let them eat bread. No, it can't be. Let them eat cake. It wasn't like that.
I'm in the same condition as you. I'm in the same scenario as you.
Okay.
I'm sacrificing just like you.
And that's what's necessary to keep everybody at least at peace with their difficult condition.
Especially when you're pushing men in a situation where they're going against their comfort.
Yes.
And there is no comfort.
God.
You know, the first thing men do is look at what's being leveraged as far as who's doing what burden and who's not doing what burden. The natural state of man is to compare himself, saying, well, I'm doing more than you.
Yep.
Or you're not doing as much as me. So why am I doing it? Why am I working this hard? So what men look for is injustice. So when by Nehemiah's example, he's showing that, you know what, I'm just as fatigued, exhausted, depleted, burdened as you are. And that gives people morale to know I'm not alone. I'm not in this fight by myself. Some people need to see I'm not suffering by myself in order for them to be motivated.
No doubt.
And that connects to last night's class about not forsaking the sheep. Meaning that are we conscious and aware of the people around us, what their needs are, what their considerations are, what their affairs are, what their thoughts are, what their weaknesses are? Am I conscious of what people can handle around me? What examples they can handle around me?
Yep.
What mindset they need? What are the people around me that I'm responsible for need? That's important. I can't be insensible to the people, to the sheep. I gotta be insensible to the danger and the fear and the doubt and the loss.
Kind of.
But I can't be insensible to the needs of the people.
Kind. Read Philippians 3 and 17.
Philippians 3 and 17.
Matter of fact, read verse 14.
Philippians 3 and 14.
We're going to read to 19.
I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh in Yahweh Shai's name.
Mm-hmm.
Let us therefore, as many as be perfect,
If we're trying to push for perfection, this is how we have to operate. Read on.
be thus minded. And if in anything ye be otherwise minded, Yahweh shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as ye have us for an example.
He says, look for the people who are walking like us to be that ensample. Read on.
For many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even deeply, that they are the enemies of the cross.
Listen, the enemies of the cross of Yahweh Shai are these type of people. Read on.
Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame.
The thing is this. The issue is, when you're in a leadership position, learning to be a leader, what motivates you can't be what you want. Can't be your belly. It's got to be what the body needs. It's got to be what the men need, the families need. That's got to be your reason for doing everything you're doing. Christ says the greatest amongst you has to be the greatest what?
Servant.
Servant. But the servant is based upon being a servant to what they need. Morale, strength, confidence, scriptures, prayer. What does the body need is what we have to supply for them. That's what the job of leaders are. Let that verse go and go to Psalms chapter 112 and verse 1 and then 6 through 8.
Psalms 112.
Let me get it real quick. It's after I'm tripping. It's crazy. Nehemiah should be further back in the Old Testament, man. I don't know why it's so early, so close up, man. Because it shouldn't be that way. But anyway, Psalms chapter 112 and verse 1. Read that.
Praise ye the Most High. Blessed is the man that feareth the Most High, that diligently, that delighteth greatly in his commandments.
So now jump to verse 6.
Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Most High.
He says, our heart has to be fixed despite the evil tidings, despite the evil around us. The evil around us can't change. It shouldn't change how fixed we are and resolute in our spiritual path we're taking. Read on.
His heart is established. He shall not be afraid.
His mind is established. He's not afraid. He's not emotionally disconnected. Or he's emotionally disconnected to fear of loss. He's in the moment. He's doing his job. Read on.
Until he see his desire upon his enemies.
Until the job is complete. Read on.
He hath dispersed. He hath given to the poor. His righteousness endureth forever.
I don't want that part. That's verse 9. We're good with verse 8. We just want to make sure we're explaining about the mindset that you're supposed to have in the midst of adversity. And we can't let evil tidings slow us up, weaken us. And this is what Nehemiah is doing. Did you have something, Shamshawan?
Yeah, I just want to go into what Nehemiah said, something that just reminds me of what Judah said in First Maccabees, chapter 3. Read it in Nehemiah.
3 and what?
let me.
Oh, you going back to? You going back to?
Yeah, it's Nehemiah chapter 3, and it's verse 18.
Okay.
But he said something very similar. When you're faced in a hard pressed situation, you know, they both had similar mind frames. Let's read Nehemiah chapter 4 and 14, and then First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 20 through 21.
Nehemiah 4:14.
Read that.
And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them.
So what Nehemiah is doing is Nehemiah has to instill confidence into everybody that's involved in the project.
No doubt.
And that's hard to do because you can't let doubt creep in from the top down to the bottom, because that's why he had to address the nobles. He had to address the nobles are the leaders of the people, because they got to be in a mind frame of courage and confidence. So that has to be set up from the top down. Read.
Mm-hmm.
Be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Most High, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren.
And so now you have to fight for something that's greater than just yourself. It doesn't just pertain to you. That means you have to become selfless in your fight. And that selflessness is when you detach from the things that just comfort you, make you feel good. When you have a project as large as this, then it takes an all-in effect on everybody. So that means that everybody has to detach and trade off something and lose something. There has to be an investment across the board. But he says you got to tap into the reasons for the fight. You have to tap into something greater than yourself. You have to fight for other people. Read on.
Your sons.
He said you got to fight for who?
Your sons.
Your brethren, your sons. Go ahead.
And your daughters.
Read.
Your wives in your houses.
He said you got to tap in. You got to fight for them. Because if you quit, everybody's exposed. Everybody's going to, meaning the survival of this plan is on your shoulders. And a lot of people don't want the weight as being a pillar of saying, man, I don't want the camp survival on my shoulders.
Yeah.
I don't want the whole camp survival sitting on my shoulders. I don't think that's fair. Well, you know what? Nehemiah is having to instill this notion that's saying, listen, you should fight because there's a lot at stake, and it is on your shoulders to hold the whole camp up or to hold this whole project up. Go to First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 20. First Maccabees 3 and 20.
First Maccabees 3 and 20. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us.
Read.
And our wives.
They said, but who's at stake? They're going to destroy us. They're going to destroy our wives. What else?
And children.
And they're going to destroy our children. And what else?
And to spoil us.
And that means your children will be sent to for sale. They're going to be put on some markets.
Yep.
Your wives will be ravished or exploited. They're going to be put up for sale. Go ahead.
But we fight for our lives.
He said, but you got to fight. And you got to fight for what?
Our lives.
You got to fight for your lives, your family's lives, your children's, the future generations' lives, and what else?
And our laws.
You got to fight for what's right. When you have a notion that people are trying to destroy and root out the furtherance of the Most High's kingdom on earth, the furtherance of the word of the Most High being taught, no matter what city you're in, no matter what state you're in, you're going to come up against opposition, but you got to fight for what's right. You got to stand up for the Most High, along with your family. Read on.
Wherefore, the Most High himself will overthrow them.
And he says, and if you do this with everybody in mind, with the Most High in mind, with your brothers in mind, with your sisters in mind, with your family in mind, if you fight with all these individuals in mind, he says, then the Most High will do what?
Overthrow them.
It says the Most High will help you overcome. This is why the Most High says, strive unto death, and the Lord shall what?
Fight for thee.
The Lord shall fight for thee. When you push to this degree, then the Most High will intervene. And the Most High will bring some assistance to you. But he's not bringing that assistance to you until you give the best possible fight you possibly can. Both Nehemiah said the same thing, and also Judah said the same thing when he was fighting the Greeks. They both had the same mindset. They knew what was at stake. And when you're camp building, it's the same thing. You got to know what's at stake. When you're doing any kind of camp building, church building, all these things are at stake. Your laws are at stake. If not, people will be scattered and go back to their lives. And they go back into the world and they're lost sheep. Christ said, he told Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. And so this is what it takes. It takes a fight. It takes a care and a concern greater than just yourself in order to get the Most High involved to bring us assistance. So I just wanted to bring that out because Nehemiah is a war general as well as he is a being used as a prophet, being used as an instrument of the Most High. He's showing you how he's able to think in a fighter's mentality. Nehemiah has a fighter's mentality.
Yep.
He's operating like a war general on a construction project.
Yep. But see, he was a war general, and he had a spiritual balance to him also.
God.
And he was a great planner. But God, you good?
That's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's read verse 15 in the Nehemiah.
And it came to pass, when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and Yahweh had brought their counsel to naught.
So the crazy thing is this. In order for us to figure out how the Most High brought their counsel to naught, we would need the history of Sanballat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the history of Tobias, the Ammonite, and all these different countries to find out what kind of distracted them.
Philistines were there too.
Yeah, the Philistines. We need to know all their history. It's because, the thing is when you sit back here and we read about the greatness of Maccabees and how we sat back here and fought off the Greeks, the crazy thing is with the Most High, what we're not really aware of, the Most High showed us mercy and kept those numbers, even though the odds were still high, 20,000 versus like 5,000 or 1,000. He could have been way worse, but the Most High pulled Antiochus Epiphanes to the Far East. And the bulk of their armies, he sent them Far East against India, and it gave us time to fight numbers that were more manageable. That's how the Most High fights for us. He'll pull a larger force of people a different direction to keep them occupied, so we'll have a more fair fight.
No different than the Most High sent murder hornets
Yep.
to deal with the giants in the land of Canaan. And we weren't even conscious the Most High was stinging them
Yep.
and softening them up so that we had the opportunity to have victory when we went to engage with these giants.
Because the softening up was not just knocking down the warrior population. They were a very superstitious people. And they were getting omens that the Israelites or the Most High was going to replace them and bring new people in. So half the fights we fought with Joshua, all we had to do was start fighting a little bit and they ran. We weren't even sitting back here fighting and knock down dragouts because the murder hornets were omens. So when the fight actually got engaged and we started winning, they were just running. That's how he prepped them. We just don't know how the Most High got Sanballat and all these surrounding nations to be distracted, to not bring any larger forces to fight against us. But that was the Most High working on our behalf. Maybe one day we'll sit back and look at some records and see how he took care of us and protected us. But the fact is he did. He did because we stayed firm to the process and the praise of the Heavenly Father. Okay.
We know the Most High says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper."
That's literally I was going to pull that verse. Isaiah 54:17. That was literally where we're going to go. Took the words right out of my mouth.
You have to look at it like that too,
Yes,
because whatever the Most High did to the enemy to foil their plan, that wasn't by our design.
Yeah. Because listen, they had the numbers. They had the superior numbers. They had the armies. They had the weaponry. They could have came out and surrounded us. He still could have did it. There's a reason the Most High didn't let it happen. And there was something mechanical that happened to where they chose not to do it. Read it.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn.
We even sit back here and look at that. The Most High got all these wars away from us. Because he's looking after us. He's letting all these Edomites die in Russia, die in Ukraine. Then the war, listen, I don't know if y'all know, but they're bringing like 5,000 troops to the Middle East. They bringing a bunch of warships there Because what they're going to do, the United States is going to use their weaponry to help shoot off and defend that Iron Dome in Israel. And I don't know if y'all heard this, but the United States or Israel is talking about preemptive strikes to Iran.
Yep.
So they're saying, listen, we bombed your country, your capital city. We know you're going to retaliate. So let us double retaliate against you. Wow, that's crazy how these people roll. We're going to sit back and bomb you because we know you're going to bomb us for what we did to you. That don't make any sense. They're begging for a war. But the beautiful thing is, that war is in a place that's not us right now, that we're not occupying. That's how he shows us love. All these things are happening, really is protecting us from further damage. But anyway, let all that go. Let's go to, let's read the verse in Isaiah again.
54 and 17.
Yes, sir.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn.
God.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Most High, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh.
So the beautiful thing is, if we stay on point with the Heavenly Father, nothing that people, the nations, on a geopolitical level, on a personal level, these negative intentions to destroy us won't come to fruition. It doesn't mean that they're not going to try it, but it's not going to come to fruition. Let that go. You got something, Joshua?
No.
Let's continue in verse in Nehemiah 4 and verse 16.
And it came to pass from that time forth that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows.
So he says his crew, his personal detail crew, was working. Half of them was grinding with everybody else, and the other ones were sitting back here getting ready for war. So he says, but his guys had spears, shields, bows, read on.
And habergeons.
Habergeons, what they are, that's that chain of mail. That's that chain of mail they had on their head down to their neck and their body to protect themselves from war. He says, those guys were professional fighters anyway. He says, but my crew, my detail, was split up with workers and fighters. Read on.
And the rulers were behind all the house of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
They which builded on the wall, and they that bear burdens with those that laid it. Everyone with one of his hands wrought in the work.
So what's happening is they got past that initial fear that it was going to happen like right now. They got past it, nothing happened, and they just intensified their work. But they still were war ready. Read on.
And with the other hand held a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another.
So he's like, listen, this is a large-scale work. We're 2.5 miles away from each other on either side. We need these trumpeters to sound the trumpet so everybody can know what's up. So a lot of the pressure was on those trumpeters, which were watchmen, overseeing the city. Read on.
In what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. Our God shall fight for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared.
So half the group was ready for war from the morning into the night, and the other half had to do the same thing at night.
Yep.
It was a 24-hour shift. Read on.
Likewise, at the same time said I unto the people, let everyone with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us, and labor on the day.
So listen, to be a guard at night and labor at day, that means there's no sleep.
That means you're working in teams, man.
Yes.
And then when you're working in a buddy system, any kind of buddy team, if you're in a 2-man team, you're like, man, listen, I got it. I get you an hour. I buy you about 2 hours. You buy me 2 hours. But even in teams, one person got to be up. One person got to be alert.
Trust he gonna be. He gonna got trust.
That's like being in a foxhole in Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
You can't go to sleep, man. You got Vietnamese all over you. You got Viet Cong around.
And they're quiet, bro.
Quiet, bro. Stealthy. Come popping up out of the ground. Somebody has to be on alert. You in a foxhole or you in a trench somebody has to be alert. Everybody can't be asleep. But that's the sacrifice that it takes.
Yep.
It's showing you that men will be inconvenienced, and we have to accept that when we're building something in the name of the Most High, it's going to oppose your comfort and your flesh. And that's the trade-off. You build something great in the spirit, but guess what suffers? The flesh suffers. The fatigue. You know, red. Your eyes got to be bloodshot red.
Beat up, bro.
Your eyes are bloodshot red. You ain't getting no sleep.
Come.
You're like a walking zombie.
No doubt.
And we know the feeling because when back in the day, when building the first school or second school we had in San Antonio, man, it required that kind of all-in effort.
You working 12 hours, and then you get off work to bust down walls and
brother sleepwalking at the mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
All those things are true, but that's the cost of getting anything accomplished for your people.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy because the most I want to see how hard do you really want to fight to get what you want to get. It's the truth. Kind of. And you know what? Listen, it's going to get more intensified in this next chapter. I don't know if I want to go into it because I really don't want to break up the rhythm. Is that it? Yeah, I know. There's more verses. I know, but I'm just saying, hey, this next chapter is really, it shows another aspect of that sacrifice and what we really have to go through. What you got to lose for the sake of unity. Everybody talks about unity.
And the question is, are we doing the little things every day with a spiritual premise, with a spiritual lens every day, gain these lessons, exercising these spiritual concepts?
So when it's really time to lose, you can accept the losses.
Concepts?
Yes.
We're sitting in class, which is great. Well, are we on a daily basis with our work platform, with our familial platform,
with our prayers?
Are we exercising spiritual concepts on a daily basis, making sure that we are in spiritual condition for whatever adversity comes in this earth?
No doubt.
Because the mind state that kicks in is there's got to be a better way to do this,
or easier way.
Or an easier way to do this. Does it have to be done this way? Because that's what happens. Men get real creative when they get tired of doing something for so long.
Yeah.
They get ultra creative. They get all the ingenuity starts. The wheels start turning.
Spinning, right?
Yeah, when I'm tired of doing the same thing, it's like, brother, I got another play that we could do as a camp. Brother, I got another angle that we could do in the camp. But doing the same thing every day, fatiguing and burning you out, that's not what men want to do every day.
This can't be the spirit.
This can't be the spirit. It's got to be an alternative.
Why is this the spirit?
Yeah, who made this up? Who put the schedule together? There's got to be a better schedule. But look at the schedule that Nehemiah got him on. There's got to be another way.
Yeah.
What are the alternatives that we got to explore the alternatives? Because just doing this 24-hour shift, there's got to be another way to get this wall built. But this is what men get creative when they.
Well, we're bringing in 3 parts. How about this? That's what I was thinking when I was dreaming.
Yeah.
And this came to me. You do 8 hours. He does 8 hours. Eight. That's 24 hours. And we can all do little 8-hour shifts, and we can make this work.
We can divide it up.
Like, brother, listen. Why are you changing the concept?
Listen, the point is, aren't these guys trying to kill us? Why are you giving them more time and other opportunities to kill us? We got to finish balls to the wall and finish this 20 extra feet. We got to get this thing 20 feet higher. Right?
If it be the Most High's will, it'll get done anyway.
Yeah.
Where's your faith?
Come on,
like
everybody gets smart though.
Everybody
gets
smart.
Intelligent and wise when it comes to doing it. It's got to be other ways. It's got to be alternatives. It's got to be this hard. Does it have to be this difficult? That's the normal thought that men come up with when they're being challenged to this degree. This is a challenging, grueling task.
This is still hard-ass labor. Let's look at this picture again. It's not like you're sitting back here. First of all, these are thick, 8 feet deep walls. 8 feet deep? 2.5 miles long? This is grind damn work. This isn't easy.
You feel like it's never ending, though.
Hell yeah! I feel like the damn Great Wall of China. Huh? That's what it feels like. Huh? This is a never-ending damn wall. Luckily, it's broken down in groups. But it's still a marathon.
Yeah.
And now you're sleep deprived.
And this is why when you're in those conditions, you have to find the ability and practice the ability to have joy in the routine. You gotta keep the morale up.
Listen, that's my point. You better play some music. Somebody better play some music. Cut this radio on, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What year were they building this wall?
444. Approximately.
I don't want to read one verse. Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Nehemiah 6 and 9. For they all made us afraid, saying, their hands shall be weakened from the work.
Even the enemies knew that this was a big task.
Yeah.
Even they knew that what they're trying to do and they're embarking on is huge. They said there's no way that they're going to be able to finish this project. Even they became doubtful and unbelieving that we were strong enough to even finish it. Read on.
Let's read from the top again, verse 9.
For they all made us afraid, saying, their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done.
Go ahead.
Now therefore, O Yahweh, strengthen my hands.
And that's why Nehemiah once again had to stop and pray that the Most High intervene and strengthen their what?
Their hands.
Their hands, man. The word hand in Hebrew is yad. Yad also means power.
Mm-hmm.
Power. Your hand is where your power comes from.
Yeah.
So when you get fatigued, you become powerless, man. Your hands are feeble. So
Your mind is fogged. Your mind is scattered. You're not clear in the mind.
It's hard to function.
You start making mistakes on the wall.
Mental mistakes.
Now you're tired. You fatigued too. Good.
He said the Most High. He prayed that the Most High do what?
Strengthen my hands.
So this is what you got to do when you get tired, man. You got to ask the Most High to put strength into your hands when you're in a long, hot day and you've been at work all day and you don't feel like you got enough in you, enough gas in the tank. You got to pray to the Most High to give you some extra gas.
Okay.
That He give you what it takes to propel yourself past fatigue, past the burnout, past the one I want to quit, or there's got to be something else. Yes, sir.
I was just looking, and it occurred to me that they had to be 8 feet deep because sieging armies couldn't bring those walls down with catapults.
Yeah.
They needed trebuchets.
Yeah.
That was the only way that they could bring them down.
Yeah, the Romans were amazed that it got done. They said it was the hands of the Lord that did this. So we couldn't have did this.
They had to be 8 feet deep. So I'm like, why do they have to be 8 feet deep? Like, they had catapults, and it's like, nah, bro, catapults wouldn't bring them down. They needed trebuchets.
Yes.
That's why they're 8 feet deep.
What are trebuchets?
It's an advanced form of catapults. So catapults, you would use it to bombard the city. It would go over the city walls.
Yeah.
You could bring down the ramparts and stuff and maybe some towers, but the trebuchets, if you concentrated it in a specific spot of the wall, you could bring the wall down. But they had to be 8 feet deep. So you could send out soirees. You could send out parties to try to hit those trebuchets. Or if you're being sieged, you can actually build one or a catapult in the city from buildings to actually counter-bombard them. So it could kind of be a back and forth.
But the problem is that didn't even work. When we get to it, I saw a show online about it. They said what happened was we were being besieged. We had dug tunnels under the entrapments to form a way to kind of come and fight them from the outside. What ended up happening is those trenches that we dug under it, they ended up collapsing. And that's how the gate opened and the space opened for them to get in. It wasn't even the walls. It was when they tried to get out and try to figure a way to get around the situation, the ground collapsed under it, and what was built collapsed and fell. And that's how the Romans got in from the top, from the top northern part of the actual fences. So it wasn't even the construction that broke down. It was the Most High's will that broke that down.
But that's where the word undermined comes into play.
Yeah.
Because you're undermining, you're going underneath a wall.
And you weaken the wall from the base.
Right.
But it wasn't even the construction that broke down. It was our way of trying to figure out a way to get around the will of the Most High is what broke us. Anyway, so all that trepidary, I'm saying the word wrong, trepidary stuff, that didn't even work. Trepidary, flippidary, bepidary, that didn't even do it. But 8 feet deep is out, and it was at these crazy slopes. Because when you sit back and look at Jerusalem, it's on a hill, it's slanted, it's hard to get up there.
Yeah.
You have this low valley in Kidron, you have to hike up to get there. It's a hike to get there. Then you got 40 feet high walls.
Jutting up through the top of the mountain.
You see how it was a climb across the board. When you see it, and when you look at the image online, You see where the smoke is, where the temple is? That's where they went. Because it was flat land. You try to sit back and get them from the middle of that hill,
No.
you can forget it.
Where David's house was?
It's a perfect defensive position. It was an old time deficient. Listen, don't forget, the only way David's people did it, you had to swim in the water, go under, you gotta go in the water, do some Mission Impossible stuff out to do it in the first place. Because it was indefensible. You couldn't get in.
That's why
He went in from the water. So when the Romans came in, they went up on top with flat land. It was still difficult, but the Most High breaking down the land is the only way they got it from the top. Any other way, it's too hard. You're on a slope. You're going downhill and then directly uphill, and it's 40 feet high.
Come on.
How are you gonna do that? You're a sitting duck. You just bring your archers and you're wiped out.
I got a little scripture right here. Psalms 127 and verse 1. 127 Psalms. Verse 1.
127. A song of degrees for Solomon.
Let me get it real quick. I'm sorry. Let me type it in, I should say. Okay, go for it.
Song of degrees for Solomon. Except Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Most High keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain.
That's why it's so important to make spiritual sacrifices. We can do the physical work. We can do everything methodically correct execution, have the proper physical approach. If there's holes in our spirituality, if there's holes in our sacrifice, if there's holes in our prayer life, and in our spiritual life, in our relationship conduct, in our spiritual understanding with the Most High, in our dedication to the Father on a spiritual level that we cannot see, right? That's the real gap. The gap is in our spiritual connection with the Father as a unit, as a nation, and as a family or as individuals. You can execute and do everything right and check every box, but the Most High is the keeper of the city on a spiritual level. It's spiritual first and physical second. Read it again from the top.
Top. Song of degrees for Solomon. Except Yahweh build the house.
Unless the Most High is with the thinking, with the counseling, with the praying, with the approach and wisdom. Read.
They labor in vain that
The
build it.
labor, the effort, the sacrifice, the sweat, the blood, the tears, that is in vain, and that is a farce, and it is a waste. Unless the Most High honors what we're doing. It's always about making sure we're in the spirit that the Most High accepts. Am I in the proper spirit? And we know Nehemiah was always maintaining prayer, supplication, and he had a good conscience towards the Lord. That's why black leaders don't work now. Listen, they have all these plans for the people, but they're not right with the Father. They don't be working out. You know?
Except Yahweh keep the city.
But it has to be the Most High's will. And He protects and defends what we're doing. And He protects and defends our endeavors. And He protects and defends what we're trying to build. That's why we always say your greatest insurance policy is all the sacrifices you do before your endeavors.
Yep. Okay.
People are waiting for the Most High to come through in the moment. They're not doing the little sacrifices, the day-by-day lessons, the day-by-day works, the day-by-day efforts, the day-by-day routines to ensure that the Most High is with them, so when they go into future endeavors and future challenges, that they're well resolute and prepared, knowing in their conscience the Most High is there for me, He's with me, because guess what? I've been sacrificing. I've been trimming the fat in my life. I've been practicing abstinence. I've been taking correction. I've been making the tenets to read. I've been working on myself. I've been trying to be unified and put myself second, third, and fourth. Read the last point again.
They labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain.
Listen, you can be up all you want to be. The Most High has the honor of that. We still are without control and without power. That condition of controllessness and lack of strength and having to yield ourselves to the Most High's will and be subject to fate, which is the Father's fortune or misfortune, brother, we're still, no matter what we do or how we do, are subject to that condition. This is why faith, the practice of faith, is so important. The practice of virtue is so important. The practice of self-analysis is so important. The practice of confession is so important. What this is showing is that all these classes and all these spiritual elements have to come together when the time matters the most. And am I processing? Am I exercising? Am I exercising and strengthening my virtue? Am I conscious? Am I self-aware of? Am I connected or disconnected from the Father? Am I making my day-to-day life a spiritual practice? This is the mentality we're supposed to have to operate in. We can't be laissez-faire. Just another day, just another day. Or I call it 9 to 5 Israelites. It can't just be a job. Where you have the job this is work. But it's got to be more than work. It has to be a spiritual pursuit and physical labor. Is that clear? But we need these lessons, like Joshua 1 went into, we need these landmarks to strengthen our confidence when these conditions happen. That's the point I want to bring out.
Let's finish these 2 verses, and let's see if brothers have any questions. Read that.
72.
Mm-hmm.
It is vain.
No.
Oh.
From Nehemiah 4 and verse 22 and 23.
22. Likewise, at the same time said I unto the people, let everyone with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us, and labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which follow me, none of us put off our clothes.
None of us put off our war clothes. This was an all-in effort, bro.
Take your shoes off.
No comfort. We're in war mode. We got these heavy-ass Habergians ready to go and get it. Why? Listen, he says none of his people were. You know why? Because we didn't have a lot of trained soldiers. We didn't have a lot of trained military. Guys had some swords. How many times did Jake go to the gun show? Go to the range.
Never.
How many black folks go to the range constantly?
Very
Esau runs through thousands of rounds.
It's expensive.
Well, listen, I saw this one Edomite guy. He was talking about a Hector and Koch, HK. And he was talking about his gun. He says, man, you don't know what kind of gun you got until you go through 10,000 rounds. I was like, damn.
10,000 rounds.
He says you really don't know how to really trust your tool until you go through 10,000 rounds. I'm like, wow.
I did not know that.
10,000 rounds. He's going through these, like, all these different courses where it's like, ping, 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 ping. He's going through all kind of, like, drills and training. And he's, like, replacing, like, pins and, like, when you clean your gun out, you got to replace that spring in your gun. You know, all kind of cleaning. But he says you don't know when you test your gun out. You really don't know what you got until you go 10,000 rounds. I was like, my God, 10,000 rounds.
A round is $1 a piece,
Brother.
modern day time.
I'm like, these people are really putting it in. They're putting the work in. Our people, bro, listen. You be surprised if you don't sit back here and you get through 20 shots. I do it this way.
That's $20, y'all. I need gas to get back home.
Who got the gas to get us back home? Shoot, we went to the range. Listen, I think as a whole we did 100. We did 100 rounds as a whole. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
I think it was as a whole. The whole camp might have went through 100 rounds. I know that. And we're like, hey, we had a great day. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And these guys are laughing at us. I'm like, y'all idiots. 100? Y'all broke ass niggas. That's what they're saying. 100. Yeah. We're like, who? We ready for the apocalypse now. We ready for the apocalypse. Exactly.
Brother hit 2 targets apiece.
Yeah.
He put up 2 targets apiece.
Brother, listen, and two on the thing, we shot 10. They all going everywhere. They're in the dirt. They're in the dirt behind it. We hit in the wood.
Hey, we're going to keep that piece of paper right there.
Yeah.
I hit it twice.
Yeah, I see that guy. I got him right in the thorax, bro. I got him in the throat. I got him. That's not even where you're supposed to get him at, bro.
What do you sit a mass at?
It's supposed to be cinema. That's what I'm saying. Bro,
it's more like we did it just to say we did it.
That's the point.
We're not experts in that. Huh?
Not even close. When they said 10,000 rounds, that's per gun that you have. to see what you got, to see how you can use it in a real situation.
How reliable it is.
How reliable, and that's what he was saying. Does it misfire? You don't know how it misfires and how it works in rain conditions. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But all those things are true. But for the most part, our people weren't even skilled and trained like that. You had a weapon, we had a sword. Well, how much work you get? We was farmers.
Yeah.
Now, the men he had with him, Nehemiah, they were trained soldiers. So he says they had to be on constant standby. They couldn't take a break. And I would imagine they were training the people around them to get them ready. Because we couldn't take our war apparel off. So read verse 23 again.
23. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that everyone put them off for washing.
You take a quick shower, you're going to go back and put that smelly stuff on and get back in war mode. But it was there was no comfort, no break, 52 days on high alert. But that's what it takes to accomplish something in the spirit. Like I said, chapter 5, I think, should take an entire focus on its own, because it really goes into how, even in a stressful, all-in moment, you had people who had power and resources that took advantage of this sacrifice that everybody was given into. And I want to use that and focus on that tomorrow, next Saturday if we can. Are there any questions in general that brothers might have?
Just want to say about that washing clothes.
We can wait on that. Yeah.
You know, brothers, you know, they get mad if they don't get a chance to wash their clothes. They take washing clothes serious. Not saying that we should be okay with being dirty and filthy.
Yep.
But sometimes a sacrifice don't allow you to have the modern conveniences and the timing that you always want to have. Because, you know, a man might say, you know what, I don't like the way the situation, because I don't have time to wash my clothes. Men get a sour outlook from the most smallest things.
The pettiest things.
Pettiest things, men will have a negative outlook on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been wearing the same socks. I don't have any clean socks. You know, I don't got to clean this. You know, and that throws men out of rhythm. Yep. You know, because my clothes ain't clean, or I haven't been able to keep my house up, or
I'm funky.
I stink, or I'm funky, and I can't do the job that I'm called to do properly because I'm not primped and manicured appropriately. I haven't had my hair cut in months, so you know I haven't had my hair trimmed, so I can't do my job because you know the current condition. Well, you know when you have a task like this, there's things that's going to be sacrificed. And he's showing it constantly in that chapter 4 is all the sacrifices that everybody had to make in order to get the project done, to get the job done. Yeah. And we have to be okay with that. You know, whatever little things that we might not have time for, or we have to ignore or neglect. You know what I'm saying? That means if you're eating, you got dirty clothes, that means you're eating on the go too. You're just eating when you can. You don't have the luxury of slow cooking food and taking all day to worry about, hey, my food. You got to make quick meals.
That for me
pick quick meals, man. You got to think about how, man, you on guard, you on watch, you working. That means you got to eat when you can, grab a piece of bread when you can. You don't have time to sit down and be comfortable.
No doubt.
In the midst of that situation. This is why when you look at any military soldiers, they get military rations in the middle of war. You get like dehydrated food in MRE bags.
Yep.
You got a little MRE that's supposed to last you with 2 MREs a day. And then you got to open them up, and you got little bitty dehydrated food that you have to reconstitute with water.
Yep.
And rehydrate. And a little heater pack that heats it up, a little chemical paper that you pour water on that creates heat and heats the food up. And it's like you're eating astronaut food.
That's what MSG came from.
Yeah.
MSG was created by the Japanese to give the Japanese the neurological thought that they're eating some good food. Because it was dead food, and they put the MSG in those MRE packs for the Japanese, and all of a sudden it tasted like it was the best thing ever. Then they said, we could give this to the civilians.
And it was crazy.
And make money off of them.
Because also to get more tips, when you go to those little gatherings, those little, what's the word for that? Buffets. It was credit for the buffets. So they know they can get some money off you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, first it started off.
I'm just joking. I'm just
They want like Chinese food.
They're trying to get you. This is delicious.
That's how they get you the Chinese food spots.
How old is this? That's delicious.
Gosh. But any questions? Any questions on top of that, y'all? Among different verses or anything you guys have on? Okay, we're going to shut it down. I know it's early, but this next topic, I want to finish it, and I want to just do 3 or 4 verses and then go back over it again the next week. That doesn't make any sense. So if there's no other questions about different verses and Bible verses, we're going to shut it down for today. All right? All right. Imagine Mupanya, Yirah Shalom.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Okay. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Please listen to us right now.
Please listen to us right now.
Send Micah
Send Mike Allah
and the righteous angels
and the righteous angels
to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong
and make strong
people of Yasharallah.
the people of Yasharallah.
Also send unto us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, and much love, spiritual power, and forgive all of our sins. Yahweh Shai come quickly. For indeed is our hope. Always. And forever. Amen. Hashem Yahushai.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the law. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light to see. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the ram's horn to call the people. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
And to sing praises unto thy name.
O Yahweh. To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
And thy faithfulness every night.
And thy faithfulness every night.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
And upon the psaltery.
And upon the psaltery.
Upon the harp.
Upon the harp.
With the solemn sound.
With the solemn sound.
For thou Yahweh. Hast made me glad through thy work.
Has made me glad through thy work.
I will triumph. In the works of thy hands.
In the works of thy hands.
O Yahweh. How great are thy works. And thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not. Neither doth the fool understand this. When the wicked spring is the grass. And when all the workers of iniquity do flourish. It is that they should be destroyed forever. But thou Yahweh. Art most high forevermore. For lo thy enemies. O Yahweh. For lo thy enemies. Shall perish. All the workers of iniquity. Shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt. Like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see. My desire. On my enemies. And my ears shall hear. My desire. Of the wicked. That rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord. Shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
fruit in old age.
They should be fat and flourishing.
They should be fat and flourishing.
To show that the Lord is upright.
To show that the Lord is upright.
He is my rock.
He is my rock.
There is no unrighteousness in him.
And there is no righteousness in him.
Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Psalms 133. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hama'ayawa.
Hama'ayawa.
Ladawad.
Ladawad.
Hana.
Hana.
Ma.
Ma.
Tawab.
Tawab.
Wama.
Wama.
Na'ayam.
Na'ayam.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Akim.
Akim.
Gam.
Gam.
Yachad.
Yachad.
Kashaman.
Kashaman.
Hatawab.
Hatawab.
Ayel.
Ayel.
Hara'ash.
Hara'ash.
Yerad.
Yerad.
Ayel.
Ayel.
Hazakwan.
Hazakwan.
Zakwan.
Zakwan.
Aharad.
Aharad.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayel.
Ayel.
Payab.
Payab.
Marawathyawa.
Marawathyawa.
Qatar.
Qatar.
Karamwan.
Karamwan.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayel.
Ayel.
Haroya.
Haroya.
Tazayawan.
Tazayawan.
Kayab.
Kayab.
Sham.
Sham.
Tazawah.
Tazawah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Habaraka.
Habaraka.
Kayayam.
Kayayam.
Ay. Al-Walam.
Al-Walam.
Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Ba'ashem Yahusha. Psalms 133 in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life evermore. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahusha.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahusha.
Yahusha.
Rakanawa.
Rakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiyat.
Wabiyat.
Support.
Support.
Turn. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahusha.
Yahusha.
Rakanawa.
Rakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiyat.
Wabiyat.
Support.
Support.
Turn. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahusha.
Yahusha.
Rakanawa.
Rakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiyat.
Wabiyat.
Support.
Support.
Turn. Yahweh. Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahusha.
Yahusha.
Rakanawa.
Rakanawa.
Washwali.
Washwali.
Wabiyat.
Wabiyat.
Support.
Support.
Turn. Baruch Yahweh.
Baruch Yahweh.
Baruch Yahusha.
Baruch Yahusha.
Baruch Yahweh.
Baruch Yahweh.
Baruch Yahusha.
Baruch Yahusha.
All knowledge,
All knowledge,
all wisdom,
all wisdom,
all understanding,
all understanding,
all mercy,
all mercy,
all long suffering,
all long-suffering,
all patience,
all patience,
all power,
all power,
from your house.
from Yahweh.
All power,
All power,
from your house.
from Yahweh.
All power,
All power,
from your house.
from Yahweh.
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahusha,
Yahusha,
the water,
the water,
Amyat,
Amyat,
Aman.
Aman.
Pick it up.
Saluting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Sha'ala, Men of Israel, Moshe. What?
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahusha Baratam.
Come and show. On the top, turn and face sisters. Sisters, please stand. Saluting out the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, and Majah, Barak,
Yahweh Shema Baratam Ba'ashem Yahusha.
or Shalom.
Okay. That's my top. Dismissed. Fall out. The water tuning in, y'all. See you on Monday. All right?
Shalom.
The water shalom.